This year, it's a new era of baseball in Durham. Stay with us. Our Baseball Across America tour is next. Live from the brand new Durham Athletic Baseball Park in Durham, North Carolina, Carolina League Baseball, the Class A affiliates of the Chicago White Sox and the Atlanta Braves. It's the Prince William Cannons at the Durham Bulls. Welcome, everybody. Matt Vasgersian, Steve Lyons, and a big friend behind us. You know, we've been told we're full of bull in the past. This just about proves it. And tonight, a brand new ballpark here in Durham, North Carolina. A lot of tradition with the Durham Bulls, of course, a storybook franchise, as we mentioned earlier. And tonight, we see their brand new ballpark. Took them 7 years to get it done, but there isn't a single fan in this area who hasn't been anything but impressed.
Well, one of the reasons that it took so long to come over to this new ballpark was the popularity of the old place. Now, it wasn't a very nice place to play. It was old. It was getting past its prime. This new ballpark brought a lot of civic pride back to this downtown area, a lot of new business moving back down here, and the fans have not been disappointed, as you mentioned. And I'll tell you what, last night they went over 310,000 people. That's a new franchise record with 12 games left to play here.
With a brand new ballpark like this one, you certainly need at the very least one tour guide to show you around. We brought our own Mike Mayock along with us this week. Let's go to Mike.
Thanks very much, Matthew. You know, on our tour across America, we've seen some great minor league ball fields, but three of the new ones were designed by the same architectural firm out of Kansas City, HOK Associates. And I'll tell you what, they have a great resume. They did Coors Field, they did Jacobs Field, and also Camden Yards. Now, their task here in Durham was twofold. Number one, the convenience of a modern stadium, and number two, blend it with the storied tradition of the Durham Bulls past. And I'll tell you, they did a wonderful job here. You still have the bull out in right field, and just like the movie, you hit the bull, you win a steak. But they also have the brand new. They've got the sky boxes, they've got the food courts, and my personal favorite, well, if you've got to sit for 2 to 3 hours and watch a ball game, you might as well have some leg room. 36 inches versus the 33 of a standard Major League Stadium. Matt, I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty comfortable guy, and I'll be checking it out with you all night long.
Oh, you're not the only comfortable one, Mr. Mayock. Lyons and I got our shoes off up here. Baseball on Tobacco Road. Stay with us. Our starting lineups are coming up next. New ballpark, the new Durham Athletic Baseball Park, and here's how our starting lineups look for the visiting Prince William Cannons. Here's how they shape up for manager Dave Huppert. Leading off, it'll be Sandy McKinnon, the center fielder. He's followed by the shortstop, Will Polidor. Batting third, Frank Menachino, the second baseman. First baseman Harold Williams is the cleanup hitter. Batting fifth in right field is Maglio Ordonez. DH Juan Thomas is in the sixth slot. At third base, batting seventh, Paul Gonzalez. The catcher, Joe Durso, bats eighth. And hitting number 9, left fielder Andre Newhouse. Here's the defensive scheme for the host Durham Bulls. Around the infield, first to third, John Knott, Manny Jimenez, Lou Benbow, and Brett Newell. In the outfield, left to right, Scott Pagano, Andre King, and Wonder Mons. David Toth is the catcher, and on the mound, Micah Bowie, left-hander out of Humble, Texas, an 8th-round draft selection of the parent Atlanta Braves. Back you see his numbers. Mike has been hit around a little bit. He's factored in decisions in 14 of his 17 starts, and unfortunately for Micah, 10 of those decisions have been losses.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get those decisions, sometimes you'd just be happier with a no decision, because if that decision happens to be an L, those L's can add up quite quickly, and 10 of them already here at the AA level.
Here's the first pitch of our Carolina League ball game tonight. And that misses low, apparently. 1-0 on Sandy McKinnon there. You see McKinnon's numbers. Prince William Cannons affiliated with the Chicago White Sox. The skipper, Matt West, at the helm of the Durham club. He's one of those guys that has gone from player to pitching coach to manager, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see his baseball career progress into the suit and tie phase either at some point.
Well, it's kind of funny because he is almost a throwback to where baseball managers got involved with everything in the organization. He hangs around here in the off-season, works for the ball club, goes out and does talks around the community, invites people to come out to the ballpark next season, helps with advertising sales, goes out and plays golf or bowling or whatever he needs to do with clients of the ball team, and works for the owner in the off-season and really enjoys it, he says.
It's so rare, and a lot of fans don't understand the nature of the relationship with a minor league manager. He's employed by the parent team. And for somebody who's employed by the parent team to stay in the affiliate city where he works in the minors in the off-season is very rare indeed. There's a walk issued to Sandy McKinnon. Cannons have got their leadoff hitter aboard. Well, beautiful ballpark here in Durham, and we'll be making reference to that throughout the broadcast. Strange dimensions here, as you notice. A short porch in left field, almost a Fenway Park-like green monster. The difference being it's blue here in Durham. And those dimensions, strange out of necessity. The streets behind the ballpark required a shorter dimension in left field. So when the architectural firm HOK, when they designed this place, they said, well, we've got to have a short left field. We might as well put a high wall there because there's a city street outside. They have compensated nicely with the short card they were dealt with the streets outside. Pitch home to Will Polidor, in for a strike.
Originally, when they built this ballpark, they wanted to face it towards the warehouses that are actually seated behind the home plate area, similar to the ballpark at Camden Yards with those warehouses out behind right center field. But by the way the sun sets here, the sun would have been setting in dead center field, and they were unable to do that, so that the way the park faces now, we're looking at the city jail.
Oh, they try to capture some of the splendor of the area. Runner goes on the next pitch. It's swung on and missed. Throw down to second is not in time. It's a stolen base for Sandy McKinnon. His club high 28th of the year.
Yeah, McKinnon's a guy who will run. He has only average speed, but he likes to run. He's been caught 12 times this season. His ratio isn't all that great. 28 steals, 12 caught stealing. It's not a great ratio, but anytime you can get a chance to put a little bit of pressure on, as he's doing right now, get a good jump and steal a base, puts a lot more pressure on the opposing team.
So the Cannons have got their leadoff hitter as far as second base with nobody out. Check that with one away. As Polidor strikes out, it's Frank Menachino that stands in now. First pitch home to Menachino. Fastball stays high. There's something about the view of a city jail from a ballpark in this part of the country. There's an old ballpark in the old Appalachian League, Whitville. It's now a defunct Appy League city, but their entire right field wall was a city jail. There's a ground ball to second. Jimenez over to Knott. 2 away as McKinnon gets to third.
It's kind of funny you mentioned the fact that the view from the ballpark, you can see the jail, and people generally ask, well, can the guys in the jail see the game? And they said no, because the windows are 9 feet 4 inches up, and unless you want to stand on someone's shoulders, you aren't watching the game. I don't know, I guess that's part of the cruel and unusual punishment of being in jail. Can't even see a game.
You're right there, and you can't even watch a game. Runner at third with 2 away for Harold Williams. First pitch into the big left-handed hitter is in for a strike. Harold Williams with pretty good power numbers, as you see there, a .405 slugging percentage for him. Breaking ball is swung on and popped up. Playable in the infield. Catcher David Toth giving way to third baseman Brent Newell, who makes the catch. And it's a quick and easy top of the first for Micah Bowie. We played a half inning of baseball from the new DAP. 0 on the scoreboard.
Everybody loves the Bulls. Be part of the Triangles team and look the part in official Durham Bulls souvenirs. Call 1-800-849-BULL to get your hands on the hottest hats, the sharpest shirts, and everything else to make you look like a Bull. We've been bringing fans out to the ballpark since the turn of the century. Now we have a new home and a new look that you can share. Call 1-800-849-BULL for your official Durham Bulls souvenirs.
Back for the bottom of the first inning. The Cannons go down eventlessly in the top of the first, and it was aided by some fundamentally solid defense on the corner.
Hey, you can see Brett Newell already making friends on his new team. The third baseman coming in hard. Catchers love it when their third baseman will call them off, or their first baseman will call them off on these pop flies, because they have to come out for their position, turn around, and find the ball. And Newell's only been here for about 10 games, and he comes in and makes that play. It makes it so much easier on your catcher.
Look at him, casual, right at home. It doesn't matter where he's playing. Let's go over the starting lineup for the host Durham Bulls per their manager, Matt West. Leading off for Durham, it's the speedy center fielder Andre King. He's followed by left fielder Scott Pagano. In the 3-slot DH, Gator McBride. Wonder Mons, the right fielder, bats cleanup. Hitting 5th is the first baseman John Knott. Catcher David Toth is in the 6th slot. Hitting 7th, Lou Benbow, the shortstop. Brett Newell, the aforementioned third baseman, is in the 8th hole. Batting 9th, Manny Jimenez at 2nd. In the outfield, the defensive look for Prince William. Infield, 1st to 3rd, Harold Williams, Frank Menachino, Will Polidor, and Paul Gonzalez. In the outfield, left to right, Andre Newhouse, Sandy McKinnon, and Maglio Ordonez. Joe Durso behind the plate. And lefty Rich Pratt on the mound to make his 21st start of the year here tonight. See the numbers on Pratt, darn good about this midway point.
Yeah, you look at some of those numbers. He strikes out a lot of guys. He's got a great changeup. He's one of those crafty lefties. I don't know if you can call a young kid a crafty lefty, but at the same time, this guy doesn't overpower you. But he's 3-9 on the season. His ERA is 3.25, which isn't bad at all. He just hasn't had a whole lot of support out there when he's on the mound.
It's been a bit of a recurring theme for Prince William. Not a lot of offensive support of late. There's a pitch in for a strike to Andre King.
You know, this team goes out and wins the first half in the Northern Division, and they're really struggling so far in the second half.
There's a shot off King's bat that lands foul in the picnic area down in left field.
Talked to manager Dave Huppert, and basically what he says that we're just not getting the support that we had in the first half. He had a guy get called up that was hitting about 350. He had a pitcher that was pitching very well. There you see Dave Huppert in the dugout, the manager of Prince William Ball Club. And he said it's really been a struggle so far in the second half. And you'll notice up and down the lineup, very few guys that have averages over 230.
There's a big swing and a miss on a fastball from Rich Pratt. He records his first out on the K.
You're going to see a changeup out of Pratt here. This is his best pitch. Maybe that was a fastball. I thought it was a changeup when he let it go. He doesn't throw that hard altogether, but that was a straight fastball right there. That was my fault.
Some of those crafty lefties, you can't tell the difference.
You don't even know what they have. His changeup is his out pitch. It's the pitch that he'll live by. That was a straight fastball on the outside corner. Great location. He's going to have to live on location and his ability to throw that changeup for a strike.
Scott Pagano swings and misses. Kind of a balmy day here in North Carolina. 78 degrees at game time. You see there a 10% chance of showers. If you'd asked us that about 5 hours ago, we would have said a 90% chance of showers. Looked like it was going to dump on us earlier. But Mother Nature's been good to us so far. Pagano coming off of a hot month of July. Hit .313 in July to lift his overall average to .265, and that tells you how he was struggling before the good month. There's a shot into the gap in right center. Ordonez will track it down. 2 away here in the first. Durham Bulls have been affiliated with the Atlanta Braves ever since 1980, and that year really signaled the turnaround for this franchise. They've had baseball here since 1902, as we mentioned in our open, but it was in 1980 that the modern era, quote-unquote, of Durham baseball began, and it climaxed with the movie Bull Durham. We'll be talking about that throughout the broadcast as Gator McBride takes a pitch for a strike.
There you can see the numbers on Gator McBride, only hitting .235 this year, coming off of a season where he hit .338 last year in the Sally League. They're really expecting big things from this guy. There was a lot of pressure put on him, and he's finally starting to live up to that pressure. He took a little bit of an adjustment here at Durham, and he's starting to hit the ball much better here in the second half.
Good, have some big spectacles. Next pitch to him. There's a shot well hit to right center field. It chases McKinnon, and this one's out of here.
Better to see that fastball win.
Absolutely. Gator McBride with his 13th home run of the year. That leads the Bulls, and it's 1-0 Durham. Well, he didn't win a stake with that home run, but he lit up the eyes of the bull and got the smoke going out of its stout. That's what fans pay to see here in this ballpark, and the Bulls have an early lead.
Wow, Gator McBride doesn't look more than 13 years old up there. Watch this swing, lets the ball get in on him, and then shoots it back out of there to right center field. Talking to Matt West earlier in the game, he said that's one of the things that he has to do better. He hit an opposite field home run 2 days ago, and they want to see more of that out of him.
And what better way to reach base after people are still talking about a home run than by dropping down a bunt, and that's what wonderful, terrific Mons III does on the first pitch after the long ball.
Were those adjectives describing this guy, or is that his name?
That, by gosh, is his birth-given name.
3 times over.
Yeah, that's
He's the third. How does that happen?
He drops down the bunt single. John Knott the batter now with a run in, a man aboard and 2 away in the bottom of the first already. We've got action.
And Wonderful will run.
Not Wonderful Mons the first or the second, but the third, as we mentioned earlier. Apparently his great-grandfather had 11 girls before giving birth to a boy. And the event was so wonderful, so terrific, they decided to name that child Wonderful Terrific. And the name has been passed down through the generations. There's a lefty's next pitch home. Breaking ball misses outside.
Wonder over there has to really judge the move here from Pratt. Pratt's showing him a couple different moves. There you see West giving the signs.
They definitely have the game on. We always have to do all the
Pretty good percentage, 19 for 24 over there. For a guy learning how to run the bases and learning how to steal bases, Mons is still trying to figure out his athletic ability. They say he is physically one of the most gifted players in the entire organization for the Braves, and he's just learning how good he can be right now.
Mons comes from a family of athletes. His father, Wonderful Jr., played football at Tom Osborne's Nebraska program and then went on to a career in the CFL, played for a year with the 49ers in the NFL. There's a ball lined into right center field. It's going to drop in between McKinnon and Ordonez. Wonderful to third. Runners at the corners after John Knott's base hit.
Now here you see the Durham batters going very well with the pitch. That ball's out away from him, and then they let the ball get in on him. And what I mean by that is you got to let the ball almost get past you so you can have the power to hit it into that gap. If you try to get out in front off of your front foot and still hit the ball the other way, not only do you lose your power, but basically you're just going to be poking the ball over there. Let the ball get in, shoot it into that gap, and you're seeing some real good fundamental hitting from these Durham Bulls so far.
David Toth will be the batter now. Breaking pitches into a strike. A lot of good talent in the Braves system, in particular at pitcher, at outfield. Wonderful Mons in right field here at A-ball, but there is some pretty talented players in the Braves system when you talk about all the way up to the tippy top at Richmond and all the way down to Pulaski where their rookie ball club plays. More on that later. Next pitch to Toth is popped up in right field. Maglio Ordonez makes the catch, and the bottom of the first is in the books. To Gator McBride, a home run, stands up through 1-0 Durham. From the Durham Athletic Baseball Park, Matt Vasgersian, Steve Lyons, and Mike Mayock. Durham on top of Prince William 1-0 after just an inning. Top of the second inning, it'll be Maglio Ordonez to lead things off for the Prince William Cannons. And the first pitch to him from Micah Bowie misses low.
aspects in this organization as far as his defensive range out there. This guy can really go get them. He's got an adequate arm out there, a good enough arm to hit the cutoff man and do the job as an outfielder, but they talk about him being able to chase down balls. And right now playing in right field, they think that he may evolve into a center fielder in the future because of that range.
Indeed, at this level, when you're talking about Class A ball, and they consider the Carolina League as a more advanced level of Class A play. There are 5 A-ball leagues out there to varying degrees of skill, but when you're talking about this level, teams still have the affordability of playing guys around the infield, around the outfield, based on situations in the major leagues, based on strengths and weaknesses. You don't have to start a guy in A-ball at first base and keep him there all the way till the end of his career.
Right, and some guys get moved around because there's prospects, maybe a higher round draft choice that they really like playing the same position, so sometimes you have to bounce around. And that really gives you a basis for making it to the major leagues, too. If you only play one position and you're a third baseman and you happen to be in the Yankee organization behind Wade Boggs, if you can't play anywhere else, you're not going to make it to the major leagues in that Yankee organization until Boggs retires or until you get traded or find another place to play.
Juan Thomas is a batter. Runner aboard at first base with nobody out to start things out, and the count is even at 1-1 on the big-armed Juan Thomas. Appropriate that he should wear number 35, that he plays in the White Sox system, and that his last name is Thomas. Around spring training time, they get to call him this guy the Little Hurt. Nothing little about him.
Except the shirt he's wearing. What's he got, a size medium on? That thing is busting out.
Look at the pipes on this kid.
That is a miniature Frank Thomas right there, and they say the only problem that he's running into right now is he's what we call an all-or-nothing guy. He's got a few home runs. He can hit the ball out of the park. 19 home runs so far. But at the same time, he has struck out 133 times. He's on pace to strike out 175 times this year, and in his 3 pro seasons, he's struck out at least 150 times each. That's a lot of walking back to the dugout.
Well, that's I just can't get over the physique on the guy. There you see the runner off first, Maglio Ordonez, who looks like a second grader in comparison to Juan Thomas.
The Little Hurt.
Kind of a poor man's San Diego chicken.
I guess so. That's an old costume.
I think he's got it buttoned up so high because that's where it cuts off. You don't want to see the guy's throat that's in there. Pitch almost swung on and popped up. Toth flips the mat. He's going to chase it down near the Bulls' dugout. Leaning over the rail, makes the catch. Very alertly, however, Ordonez tags up and advances to second.
Now, these are 2 really nice plays. You look at Toth, the way he concentrates on the ball, checks out the railing where it is, goes to the left side of the railing, makes the play. Now, Ordonez is making a great move because we talked about this before. If the ball's in foul territory, the runner has nothing else to do except tag up. Now he sees Toth have a little problem after catching the ball, tags up and scoots down to second base, and that's a great job on both plays.
Paul Gonzalez, a batter now. Left-handed hitter, takes the first pitch through the hole on the right side. They're going to wave Ordonez to the plate. The throw comes to the plate, and it's not in time to get Ordonez. The throw in from Mons a little bit up the line, and that allowed Ordonez a chance to slide in safely, and we're tied up at 1 apiece.
Gonzalez is just going to punch the ball over into this 2-hole. Pretty good looking hand action there. You see him rock backwards to get his motion going forward. And look at this gun to the plate from Mons. It's a little bit up the line. But you know what they say in golf there, we'll work on accuracy a little bit later.
Just hit it hard.
There you go.
First pitch home to the catcher, Joe Durso, is fouled away.
That's a pretty good throw. We've talked a lot in this series about fundamentals and how a lot of these guys, they just want to throw guys out at the plate, so they throw it as hard as they can. They don't worry about hitting the cutoff man, and it ends up costing them another run because the hitter goes into scoring position. Now, that throw was on a frozen rope, and someone could have cut it off if they needed to.
Little chip shot back up the box that Bowie has a little bit of trouble with, but recovers in time to get the out at first. It looked like he was thinking about trying to initiate a double play there, thus the boot. So Gonzalez gets to second on the play. 2 gone now. Andre Newhouse stands in.
Newhouse is a guy that they call has a slider speed bat.
That's Scott Pagano, the left fielder, and look how closely he's playing towards that monster out there. The blue monster is what they call it here. I mean, he is right bellied up against it.
Yeah, he's playing a little too deep out there, in my opinion. You know, any ball hit over his head is either out of the park or off the wall. So give yourself an opportunity to catch a ball that's still hit over your head. Now, he may not have a whole lot of confidence in his ability to go back on the ball, and that's why he's playing back there. But I can almost guarantee you that any ball hit to him on the ground, he's not throwing out anybody out at home plate. And generally, you think left field is an excellent opportunity to throw a guy out at the plate.
3:05 down the line in left. And I'll say it's got to be somewhat tempting for the right-handed hitters that come to this ballpark to take a look there and say, boy, I just get it up into the air, and it's out of here.
Yeah, but you better hit it over that big fence, too, though, because that's a looming blue monster out there.
There's a pitch just fouled away by Newhouse, and he stays alive at 2-2.
Mentioned a little bit about Newhouse. A guy who has a slider speed bat is a guy who can't quite catch up with a real good fastball, and they've noticed that they really pound Newhouse inside, throw him hard in all the time. Now, this guy, Bowie, doesn't really have that kind of a great fastball to come in there and live in there, but at the same time, if he can set him up like he did on that last pitch and then bust him hard inside, Newhouse has had trouble getting around on that pitch. There's a circle change grip right there by Bowie out on the mound.
Newhouse just gets a piece of that pitch to foul it away. Count remains at 2-2. Boy, Newhouse battling in there. He might not be able to straighten anything out against Bowie, but he's waiting for the pitch he likes, and he's able to spoil things off. The cheap seats out on the grass.
Picnic time.
That grass area there you see is right next to a bleacher area as well. The grass fills up faster than the bleachers do.
It's probably a cheaper ticket.
Breaking ball grounded to third base. Newell there, double clutches once, throws over to first in time to get Newhouse and end the inning. The Gonzalez RBI single ties things up through 1.5, 1 apiece.
Now the
Here we are ready for the bottom of the second inning. Lou Benbow swinging and missing.
You know, if you're a guy that throws a split-finger fastball and you don't want to give away your pitch, tip your pitch by having to dig for it when you go to throw it, a lot of guys will take the ball and hold it that way when they go to the mound. Every time they'll show you that they have a split-finger grip, and that way they can change easily to a fastball or a curve. But if they have a fastball grip and then want to go to a forkball, a lot of teams can see, and you'll tip your pitches by trying to dig in there and try to grab the ball. And so they'll go to their toughest grip and stay with that and then change out of that if they have to.
At this level, do you think that A-ball hitters are looking for that kind of thing?
You know, that kind of stuff spreads very quickly, to learn how to look for pitches, learn how to see that pitchers will tip their pitches, and any advantage you can get is something that you're looking for. So, yes, that starts being talked about right at the A-ball level. Here's the replay. This ball's just hammered down the left field line. Got to wait on that ball just a little bit longer and put it in a gap instead of down the foul line.
Not a lot of foul territory down there with that monster dimension. They really did things right here at the ballpark. And there's a pitch. It's bounced through the hole. There's a leadoff single for Lou Benbow. Nice at bat. He waited there well, as if to cue from your direction.
No, he was listening to what we had to say. He got the same pitch out over the plate, waited just a split second longer. Pretty nice stride right there. This guy's not known as much of a hitter, got him over here because he's a good glove man, but he's really started to improve. They've really seen a lot of improvement in his entire game. And a lot of times, you know, your confidence with your defense can inspire your offense, and sometimes vice versa. So he's really starting to become a complete player.
Brett Newell stands in now. Newell 1 for 10 on the season as he joined the club. You see there 2 for 20 at this point. So he's been hitting at that even $1 clip ever since joining the Durham team from Class A Macon. Ground ball to the left side. Gonzalez will try to initiate a double play. Menachino to Williams. Yes, sir. Paul Gonzalez was in at the grass to start that 5-4-3.
Here's the thing that makes this go. Gonzalez makes a nice throw to second base, an easy feed. Menachino doesn't have to move very far to get it. Right there on his glove, throw the ball and jump the runner. Nice looking double play ball at the A level.
Here's Manny Jimenez now. 2 away, and the first pitch is in for a strike. Paul Gonzalez at third base tonight for the Prince William Club. I was really surprised to see his name on this Class A roster. Here's a guy that last year was in AAA baseball with the Padres, the AAA Las Vegas. Take a look at the double play he initiated one more time.
Here we talk about jumping the runner. Now, you got to get out of the way if you're a second baseman. There he throws the ball low to protect himself and then gets up in the air. And the theory is that if you get hit while you're in the air and fall, you're less likely to get hurt than if you get your legs tangled up underneath somebody. So you throw the ball, get some rhythm, and get up in the air, and that way if a guy hits you, you're still going to be safe.
So that way you land on top of him and hurt the runner.
Well, there's the other thing. Make sure you throw it low. You might clip the runner, too. And that is your protection is the bag and the ball. And the runners know that you're going to be throwing the ball low, and that means I better slide if you're throwing the ball at me. And as the second baseman, I can also protect myself with the bag. And we can talk as the game goes on, different ways they can do that.
Ground ball to third. There's Gonzalez again. Boy, that was his half inning defensively. Nothing in the second for Durham. A 1-1 tie. Well, Matt Vasgersian back with Steve Lyons at Durham Athletic Baseball Park. There you see the blue monster in left field. Let's take a look inside the blue meanie. Mike Mayock standing by on the scoreboard. Mike.
Matt, you thought Major League Baseball, minor league baseball was glamorous? Well, check this out. If you're the manual operator of this scoreboard out here, it's the old style. All the numbers, you've got to pop them in. You throw them into the space in here. And to tell you the truth, I love it. It's just like being at Fenway Park with the Green Monster. But what they did here, 24-foot wall, you paint it blue, all of a sudden it's the Blue Monster. And the nice thing, in addition to the manually operated scoreboard, is that you have a chance to make some plays outside. You've got a deep corner where caroms can come off. Steve Lyons was talking last inning right now exactly what would happen with the ball coming off and how you play it. And Steve, you can probably tell us this. Remember back in Boston, some of the best plays were not offensively with home runs, but defensively trying to throw guys out at second base.
Oh, that's one of the things that people look for at Fenway, holding guys to singles or else throwing them out at second base because they don't realize how quickly the ball comes back off that wall. And with the short left field wall, the left fielder can get it into second base so much more quickly, and there's always a lot of great plays made at second base because of that.
Sandy McKinnon leads off this top of the third. Prince William. Quickly they count to a ball and a strike. We talk about the select group of players that have played that left field Green Monster at Fenway Park with regularity. You talk about, of course, Yastrzemski, and nobody did it better than Yaz. Mike Greenwell's been doing it for a long time, but it's not like they run players in and out of that position every year because it's a tough skill.
It's a tough skill, and you're talking about 4 guys. You're talking about Williams, then Yaz, then Rice, then Greenwell. That's it.
4 guys ever since the 60s is what we're talking about there for those of you that need perspective. That's amazing.
Yeah, you know, I was going to go over there and play every once in a while, but my name didn't sound as good as the rest of those guys. Or maybe it was my bat. But it's something that you have to go over there and work on. You can't just show up at a ballpark like this and think you know the angles and think you know the way the ball's going to bounce off. It's just like anything else. If you want to get better at playing left field in Fenway Park, you go out and make someone hit you fly balls off the wall.
I think your range was too good for left field is what the problem was.
Yeah, I think that was probably.
I mean, you know, you talk about Yastrzemski, Williams, DiMaggio, Pearsall, Lyons. You're right there.
That's right. Good-looking fastball away. Just can't catch up with it. McKinnon's a guy who will get his hacks in. For a leadoff hitter, doesn't walk too much.
A couple of strikeouts for Micah Bowie as Will Polidor takes a swing and fouls away a pitch. Been a tough season for this young man.
Well, no doubt about it. I think a lot of people know and understand that his brother Gus Polidor was the former Major League player who was murdered in his hometown down in South America. And obviously, I think we could all understand the type of toll that would take on a guy, especially trying to concentrate on his own career.
Drops down a bunt. Nice barehanded play by Newell coming in from third, and he gets his man. You don't see a barehanded play any better than that. That ball was coming up the line with little action on it as well, and Newell gets the barehand on it to make the play.
This is a big league play right here. You see him barehanded. He concentrates, throws it off the off foot because it's his only chance of throwing somebody out. This is the only way this play can be made. Look at the way he throws it out on the left side of first base because he knows eventually that ball will tail back into the runner if he doesn't leave it out over the left side of first base. Excellent play.
It's been a tale of two third basemen early. Newell for Durham, outstanding defensively early, as has been his third base counterpart, Paul Gonzalez.
You know what's scary about that is Newell isn't even a natural third baseman. He's a utility-type infielder who can bounce around and play all the infield positions.
There's the shot from inside the blue monster. Frank Menechino has got the count at 1-1. You know that famous shot of Carlton Fisk hitting the home run in the 1975 World Series where he's waving it fair, fair, fair? That shot was originally taken from one of the cameras who had decided to weasel himself inside the scoreboard. Wasn't even really planned, and that's a shot that we've seen how many hundreds and thousands of times since then.
One of the best pictures in baseball.
What's the view like from down there? Let's go back down to Mike Mayock, who's still in the scoreboard.
It's a great view. I mean, this place is only 3 feet wide by about 50 feet long, but once you get in front of the plexiglass, you've got a great view of the whole park except for the left field corner.
One of the great stories about that, Mike, the shot taken in the 75 World Series, was that the cameraman almost lost the shot and missed a little bit of it because he saw a rat jumping around right at his feet. Any rats down there?
No rats, but I still don't know why Pagano's playing so deep. I mean, he's going to have a good look at any home run as it goes over his head.
He needs a ticket to get back into the game almost.
Mayock is so close to him. Look at that view. Mike Mayock is literally right there. I think Scott Pagano could hear him whispering.
They're having a conversation.
Hey, if I get this plexiglass off, I'm all over this guy.
Full count on Frank Menechino. Next pitch home is sliced into right center. That's going to drop in and roll a bit. Menechino on his way into second. He's going to think about three. Here's a relay to third base, and it's not in time. Well, they say that triples are hit off the bat. Rarely do you have time to round second and hesitate if you're going to third. Menechino saw a triple all the way.
Look at that piece of hitting right there with his head down and driving the ball to the opposite field. Now, let's not forget who we're dealing with here. This is a White Sox organizational team. Walt Riniak is the Major League hitting instructor. Here, as you see Menechino slide into third, and you're right about that. When you hit a triple, it's because you ran hard right out of the box. And all the hitting instructors, we saw Mike Lum out here earlier. He's a disciple of Walt Riniak and Charlie Lau. Roger LaFrancois we saw with the Nashville team. All the hitting instructors throughout the organization subscribe to the theory that Walt Riniak has at the Major League level of keeping your head down, finish high, and drive the ball the other way, drive the ball up the middle.
Speaking of that particular theory, this man, Harold Williams, has been working on that same approach. There's a little looper that's handled by Benbow at shortstop, and the two-out triple means nothing in the third. Cannon's turned away. We go to the bottom of the third, tied up one apiece. in Durham, NC tonight, Toto.
And there you, what do they call him? Woolly Bull?
Woolly Bull.
That's the mascot. Hey, get your hair cut.
You know, that bull, a lot of people think that that bull was here at the old Durham Athletic from years and years ago. That was actually a movie prop. Not that one. That's larger than the one you saw in the movie. But the bull was erected at the old DAP for the movie. And it went over so well, they decided to keep it there. They're now refurbishing that old bull. They're going to put it on display in the concourse. That's a brand new and improved one that they built just this year for the new ballpark.
And we saw that barbershop pole there. It's kind of funny. If you look in the Prince William Cannon's media guide, they actually advertise a few barbershops right there in the media guide. It's not even an advertisement. It's just sort of like, hey, if you come to the area, here's where you can get your haircut. I thought that was kind of unique.
Andre King, the batter, to lead off the bottom of the third for Durham. That's kind of a tough draw those folks up at Prince William have. They are very much within the immediate Washington, D.C. area, and you talk about other entertainment options. Next pitch is grounded to third. There's that fire plug. Gonzalez there for it again, and he makes the play. Hey, Paul Gonzalez, show us your wares tonight on national television.
Yeah, Andre King's going to go into the dugout and say, hey, let's pick on somebody else, man. This guy can play. Look at him put his name on the ball before he throws it over there. Third basemen love to do that. Once you get a hot smash at you, then you know you can regroup, take your time, autograph it, throw it on over to first. Make yourself look good.
One away for Scott Pagano now. Looks bunt and takes a pitch on the outside. Well, Paul Gonzalez is certainly one of the veteran players down here in this ball game at this level indeed. He was released by the Padres organization after 6 pretty good years with them. This is a guy with the talent to certainly play at a level above A-ball.
You know, Scott Pagano is a guy who really got off to a great start, and then his grandmother died this season. It was someone who he was very close to, and as a credit to the Braves organization, they let Scott go home for about a week. And when he got back, he still really wasn't mentally into it. It was a very close relationship, and he's struggled to get things going again, and right now he's really starting to come back around. He said there's going to be a bunch of his homeboys back in New York watching this game. He wanted to say hi to all of those guys up there.
There's a swing and a foul tip hung onto by Durso, strike 3, so 2 away for Rich Pratt here in the third. Gator McBride will be the batter. He got a hold of Rich Pratt in the first inning for a home run. That started the scoring in this one, tied up at 1 apiece. We're in the bottom of the third. The bespectacled Gator McBride. That's not a real big frame you're talking about with McBride, and he's one of the younger power prospects in this Brave system. Got his 13th home run earlier. Again, McBride, not a real big kid. Listed at 5'10", 170.
And that baby face he has, it looks like he's about 13 years old. A correction on Pagano, it was his grandfather who passed away. And
here's what Gator McBride did in the first inning. Didn't take him too long to get it cranked up.
watch the way he goes the other way with this pitch. That's a pretty good-looking swing. The ball out over the plate, away from him. He doesn't try to pull it. That's what they want to see more of from him.
Counts at a ball and 2 strikes on him now. He's in the midst of a modest hitting streak. He's hit in his last 4. Leads the team in the power numbers. Home runs, RBI. 2-2 now.
Matt West says he really likes the way this guy's dealing with a little bit of adversity. We talked about his season in the Sally League last year, hitting .338. Comes into this year and struggles a little bit, and he's handling it very well.
He reaches out and pokes a 2-2 pitch to that defensive mainstay. Gonzalez has been perfect tonight. Another 5-3 ground out. Durham down and out in 3 at-bats. We've played 3, a 1-1 tie. Name names like Joe Morgan, Rusty Staub, go even farther back, Johnny Vandermeer. They all got their big league careers started to an extent right here in Durham. Fans have responded to minor league baseball in this part of the world for years. Durham on the deuce. Maglio Ordonez starts out the fourth inning for Prince William and takes a pitch for a strike. Ordonez walked and then scored in front of that Gonzalez RBI single in the second. A 1-1 tie in the top of the fourth. We mentioned how this team, the Durham Bulls, has been affiliated with the Atlanta Braves since 1980, Steve. And fans of the modern game, the more recent era, will certainly recognize names like David Justice, Brett Butler, Ron Gant. They all passed through Durham and lots of big league careers. Swing and a miss out of Ordonez.
How about Chipper Jones and Steve Avery also passing through Durham on their way to the big show?
You got a pretty long and distinguished alumni list, that's for sure. Foul ball, the count remains 2-2 on Ordonez. Franchise done very well as an A-ball club. With AAA expansion again an issue, there's going to be AAA expansion in 1998. Durham has submitted its name to investigate what it would be like to move up to AAA. There's a pitch fouled away once again.
You got to think that the biggest step in that direction was this new ballpark. I think they did this specifically with the idea in mind that they could bring AAA baseball to Raleigh-Durham area.
They'd have to increase their seating capacity only by 1,000 or so. So certainly the groundwork is laid. The big issue is it going to help you to jump up in classification? Big fastball swung on and missed by Ordonez. Are more people going to come out in this area to see baseball if it's AAA than if it's A-ball?
I don't see why there would be a difference. You know, certainly if they're going to have to change affiliations, so that might make a little bit of a difference. But at the same time, mainly because of the affiliation with the Braves here for so long, but at the same time, the guys that they'll be seeing might be that much closer to the major leagues. And if you enjoy baseball in a city and it's supported by that city, what difference would it really make if they're coming out to see minor league baseball, A-ball, AAA, AA, whatever? It's still pretty good brand of baseball.
Pitch to Juan Thomas is popped up. Coming in from right, Mons. Out from second, Jimenez. Mons calls him off to make the catch, and there are two away in the fourth. Speaking of the rich history of Durham Bulls baseball and the Atlanta Braves, etc., Mike Mayock is standing by with some of that history. Mike.
Thanks very much, Matt. You know, we talked about history and tradition and how they don't want to lose that in this stadium. Well, they've had players come through here like Ron Gant, Joe Morgan. Even more recent, they've had, of course, the Braves players, Avery, Ryan Klesko, Chipper Jones, and Jeff Blauser. But the story I like the best is Johnny Vandermeer. Remember him back in 1938? Hit 2 no-hitters for the Cincinnati Reds. He played here in 36. The best part of that was he came real close. He had a 19 strikeout, 1-hit performance. The hit was by the opposing pitcher, Joe Bob Mitchell. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but that sounds like a strong safety from Auburn or Alabama to me.
Joe Bob. Lined one back up the middle.
Hey, it's Mickey Lolich. You know that lefty in a Tiger uniform anywhere.
Was that pre-Ponch? He carried a few extra pounds around with him, didn't he?
It looked like it. It looked like the young Lolich. 2 strikes on Paul Gonzalez. Pitch is wrapped up the line, foul and right.
You talked about Gonzalez being a veteran guy. Now, that's what he really brings to this ball club. This team needed somebody. They needed someone around to help them with their veteran leadership. The organization didn't really have anybody at this level to play third base, so they went out and signed him, and he's really helped in that role.
Little lefty slider strikes him out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Bowie in the fourth. Midway through, a 1-1 tie. Baseball right here on Tobacco Road. Clap your hands, young man. They love their baseball here in Durham, NC. Of course, not everybody of legal chewing tobacco age. Those that can't partake in the chew, perhaps the cotton candy a likely substitute.
You know, it's throwback cotton candy here at the stadium because there's still a stick on it. Nowadays, at the major leagues, they sell it. There's no stick on it anymore. They just sell it in a bag. It's no fun.
Sure, that stick can be construed as a weapon in the big league ballparks.
Yeah, I guess so. Can't have that.
Well, a 1-1 tie through our first 3.5. Bottom of the 4th inning, the host Durham Bulls to step to the plate. Wonderful Mons will lead things off in the bottom of the 4th, and along the course of our tour, I don't know if we've run into a better baseball name than Wonderful, Terrific Mons.
The third.
That's the part that gets you in.
Yeah, you can't forget that.
First pitch to him is cranked up in the air in foul territory. Gonzalez gives chase, and it'll be well into the stands. Speaking of great names, we've seen some good ones on the tour. Maurice Christmas is right here. Clyde Pork Chop Pugh, who was just called up to AAA Pawtucket with the Red Sox. Jayhawk Owens in Colorado Springs. Please not we forget Butch Husky of the Norfolk Tides, or Archimedes Pozo with the Tacoma Rainiers.
And Jayhawk Owens went deep twice for the Colorado Rockies.
That's our informal all-name team at this point in the tour. Of course, we'll have a fully formalized version during our playoff coverage in September.
We informally went through our all-edible team there. Wonderful almost gets on that. If he had a U in his name, he could be Mounds. You can share a half and still have a whole, you know.
A few weeks ago on the tour, we were talking about the tape on the batting helmet, Steve, and I thought it was some kind of war stripe, like when the old Pittsburgh Pirates used to put the stars on the cap for a great play, kind of a college football thing.
Yeah, you're wrong about that. And you know, bottom line is these guys get mad, they throw their helmet down, and the insides of it start to come out. Now, these guys get some great style points. Look at the way they tape those up so nicely. Makes them look pretty in there. But they bounce their helmet. You watch him here. If he gets a little upset, he might toss his helmet back to the bat boy, and eventually the stuffing starts to come out of that thing, and they have to tape it back in.
I think that the rarest piece of equipment on a minor league baseball club is got to be the batting helmet. You get bats from the parent club. The parent club pays for the bats, but the helmet always seems to fall in the gray area. Does a big league team pick it up? Does the local affiliate pay for it? As a result, there's a roster of 20-plus guys that are sharing 3 of those sometimes.
And it gets really embarrassing when the guy on third base is wearing the only helmet that fits you, and you have to go out and trade with them. Now, that happens every once in a while. I think sometimes we figure the local park and recreation district's buying the helmets.
John Knott with quite a weekend last year. National College Player of the Week. That's a good month and a half for a lot of guys. He pops up the next pitch, just angles towards the stands out of play.
If I had a day like that, I would go back and retrace every step I made that day and do it again.
One of those completely ridiculous quote traditions. You guys call them traditions. I call them ridiculous superstitions.
They're both, actually.
There's the 0-2 from Rich Pratt. Oh, he's nibbling on the outside and just misses. How about Rich Pratt? Kid threw a no-hitter in this league in late May, but has had a little bit of trouble since. Only 1 win since the no-hitter.
Well, we talked about him at the beginning of the game. He's a guy who's not going to overpower you. He has to hit his spots. He has to use that changeup. There's the 4-0 no-hitter, or the 4. In July, he was 4-0 with no earned runs in 37 innings. Now, that's a guy who's proving to you that he can hit his spots, move the ball in and out, throw that changeup, get the hitters off balance. And he was really doing the job there for a while. At the same time, when you look at his numbers overall, 3 and 9, that's what accounts for that 3.25 ERA he came in tonight with.
That was his July of 94. His July of 95, a little bit different. There have been 5 no-hitters in the Carolina League this year already. Bear in mind, when they play doubleheader games at this level, you're talking about 7 innings. Swing and a miss by knocked 2 away. 7-inning no-hitter is a completely different duck than a 9-inning no-hitter.
Oh, yeah. Sure is. Those extra 2 innings tend to get you.
Still something to hang your cap on. 2 away here. Rich Pratt has retired the last 7 that have come to face him, and the first pitch to David Toth is low. David Toth started his season at AAA Richmond, the highest level farm affiliate in the Brave scheme. High breaking ball swung out and missed.
He had a cut at that one, didn't he? No, when you know when you're swinging a high breaking ball and get it, you might as well kiss it goodbye. If you miss it, you just look like you're swinging a bad pitch.
Pratt's in front of him 1-2 here. Ever since the 3-hit first, where the Bulls got their run on the McBride homer, Pratt has settled down nicely. 1-2 to Toth is swung on and missed. Gets away from Durso. He throws down to first, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Rich Pratt. We played 4, a 1-1 tie.
Carolina has a proud place in the history of minor league baseball. Sure, everyone remembers the movie Bull Durham, but for 14 years, the capital of minor league baseball was located in this bank building in Durham. In 1932, William G. Bramham was elected 3rd president of the National Association and promptly moved the office to Durham, North Carolina, his hometown. Bramham, called judge by his younger law school classmates, instituted numerous reforms that not only enhanced the integrity of the minor leagues, but they also enabled them to survive the Great Depression and World War II. Some of his policies, begun over 60 years ago, are still in place today. He resigned in 1946 due to failing health and passed away on July the 8th, 1947, thus ending the story of one of the most important leaders in the history of minor league baseball. He is buried in Maplewood Cemetery in Durham. For the Minor League Minute, this is Mike Moore.
The top half of the 5th inning, a 1-1 tie through 4. Been a good one, and it is our top of the 5th inning. And we welcome the radio voice of the Prince William Cannons, Mr. Jim Olson, to the broadcast. Jim, welcome.
Matt, thanks. Glad to be here.
Good to have you in here. It's probably nice for you guys to travel to Durham. I'd imagine this is a favorite spot of all you guys to come.
Take a look at the place. I mean, turn around and you see what you're looking at. This ballpark is phenomenal, especially compared to what they had a year ago. A long-awaited ballpark, and the Carolina League now has a number of new ballparks coming out, and this one's certainly the cream of the crop. When you spend $21 million, you get what you pay for.
Boy, we understand that was about a $5 million thickness as well. It was supposed to come in about 16 mil.
A little overrun, a construction overrun, huh?
Tell us, is there any truth to the rumor that they call the ballpark in Prince William the Erector Set?
Well, it is a little bit of the, I would say, middle 80s construction genre where aluminum sheeting is the norm. We don't have what is the concrete seating area like we have at this ballpark. Unfortunately, we have the aluminum bleachers, but they certainly serve the purpose. The attendance has gone up regularly year after year, and we're certainly happy that it's done that again this year as the projection looks.
They don't have to roll out the folding chairs or anything like that.
No, I don't know when the last time you guys were in Prince William, but it in fact has Bock seating too. Really, the whole works.
It might scare you to know that when I played up in that area, it happened to have been the Alexandria team, and we dressed across the street in a school classroom in 1981. That was back when you were like 6.
Yeah, I think you've just dated yourself.
I can't see them letting you dress in a school classroom. I mean, that's just spoon-feeding you your whole act.
That's right. The windows were open.
We've talked about the history of the Durham Bulls, Jim, and about how some of the great names and teams that have come through here. Certainly, you guys are not at a loss for history in Prince William. You guys had Bonds and Bonilla come through there, among others.
Yeah, we were recently a Yankees affiliate, and we had Pat Kelly as one of the guys coming through there, Bernie Williams, some of the more recent names. But when you talk about our alums, certainly the guys that come to mind, Bonds and Bonilla, the big Pirates names who are making such a great name for themselves now at the big league level.
This is a team this year, the Prince William Cannons, that's struggling a little bit here in the second half, but a very good team in the first half.
You know, very solid team in the first half, but you lose a couple of guys, and, you know, that's going to make an effect in the second half.
Among those lost,
Jeff Abbott, a guy who was hitting .348 and had driven in 47 runs in the first half. Naturally, the guy deserves to get to Double-A Birmingham. Tom Fordham, left-handed pitcher, was 9-0 for the Cannons with an ERA around 2. He gets the bump to Double-A. That's good news for them. That's the whole point. They're here to not be here, to get to the next level. But at the same time, when you don't have bodies to come to the roster and replace big names like that and guys who are productive like that, you're going to have a setback, and plus the natural setback after having already clinched the playoffs. These guys don't have much to worry about in the second half. They're going to play come September 3rd.
Tim, tell us a little bit more about Jeff Abbott. We understand this guy can absolutely swing the bats.
He is not the guy who's going to hit 30 home runs, I don't think, ever, but he's got gap power that is phenomenal. He'll hit 30 doubles, maybe 40 doubles, if he ever gets to the big league level and plays the 162-game schedule. He can swing. He can hit for average. He can drive in the runs, and that's what he was for us, a guy hitting over 350 with runners in scoring position. He was the clutch guy in the lineup.
Wow, that is a tremendous play on the right side of the infield. You got to be kidding me. That had troubling infield base hit written all over it. Somehow, Jimenez and Bowie combined to get that done.
Micah Bowie makes this play. Look, he goes for the ball at first, and then he hustles to first base. Jimenez makes a nice throw off balance, and Bowie says, look what I found. I'm on the base here. This is a tough play for a pitcher to get over there, get on the base, and then turn and try to catch a throw like that.
So good play on the right side of the infield. There's 2 away now for top of the order, Sandy McKinnon, and we'll turn the rest of the half inning over to Jim Olson.
Now, Sandy McKinnon, who has been the leadoff guy for the Cannons all season long, fouls the first pitch back. McKinnon is a speed prospect. This is a guy who the White Sox are extremely high on because of his speed in the base paths. He is probably the fastest guy in the farm system. Second, maybe, to Essex Gas Burton, who played with the Cannons a year ago and now is in the Southern League with Birmingham.
Essex Gas Burton. Had we seen him, he would have made the all-name team we did an inning ago.
Excess gas.
No, that's what they called you.
That's a mispronunciation, excess gas, but it was Essex Gas Burton. He could really fly.
I guess so.
Stole 66 bags a year ago. McKinnon takes one inside here. The count to 2-1 now on Sandy.
I sure hope that wasn't an indication of how the guy smelled or anything like that.
Never was in that clubhouse. I'm not sure I could pass along the inside story on that. But McKinnon fouls another one back. He'll have a 2-strike count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's nothing worse than looking out to left field to confirm your count. And the left fielder standing in the way of the balls. I wasn't sure if it was 1 or 2 or 2 and 2, but that manually operated scoreboard is something else in left field. I'm sure you guys are happy to be at this ballpark because of its unique nature. The old symmetrical ballpark seems to be a thing of the past. McKinnon pops another one foul. It's 2 and 2.
We talked about that. In fact, Pagano isn't standing in the way of the ball sign. He's sitting on it. He has been playing the deepest left field we've seen all season long.
Now it's only 305 down the line and left, and like Fenway Park, it's pretty easy to play close to that wall.
Mr. Yastrzemski, if you're watching tonight, dial us up in the truck. We'd like a critiquing on that defensive scheme.
Jim Rice even better. You know, when I was playing center field in Boston, I used to look over and see Rice would have his arm up with his hand on his head, almost leaning up against the wall. He played that deep left field.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's been McKinnon's problem all season, the strikeout, but 3 up and 3 down, just like you guys would have preferred it.
Doesn't always happen. We get the visitor in here. Not fair. Jim Olson, the radio play-by-play voice of the Prince William Cannons. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the fire.
1 apiece in the middle of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, Matt Vasgersian, Steve Lyons, Mike Mayock, and here in the bottom of the 5th as our hometown inning continues, we're joined by the hometown voice, the radio voice of the Durham Bulls. Steve Barnes joins us on the broadcast. Steve, welcome.
Hi, fellas. Glad to be here. Glad you're in Durham.
Oh, man, this is a great place. You talk about the difference in stadiums, and we've done that most of the night. And through most of our tour across America, some of the greatest new stadiums that we're getting a chance to visit, and this is certainly one of them.
We're very proud of it, and we're settling into it, and glad you guys are here.
It's been a lot of fun so far. Good game.
You got one of the best gigs in minor league baseball, my man. The voice of the Bulls. You got to be kidding me.
Well, don't tell anybody, will you? We're having a good time here.
We were talking earlier, Steve, about the the bid or the possibility of the Bulls going AAA in a couple of years. That's something that the folks here played with a couple of years ago, and they're thinking about it again. What's the status with the possible move to AAA?
Our owner said the other day that we filed our application sort of like sticking our toe in the water to test the temperature. So
right.
Hopefully it will come to pass. I don't know if we've decided that we want to pursue it all that aggressively, and if we do, I think it would be outstanding.
We were speaking of that a little earlier, in that there's so many things to think about when you talk about making that classification jump, not the least of which being it's going to cost you a pretty penny to buy into AAA baseball.
Well, I'm just glad that I'm not writing the check.
You might be without your knowing about it. You know, when in 1988, when you take that big salary cut, you'll know where that came from. Lou Benbow, the batter here to lead off the bottom half of the 5th inning for Durham.
We talked about Benbow earlier in the night when he had a nice single to left field. We talked about that when he came over here, he was noted much more as a glove man, and then just in that last inning, we saw him make a nifty little backhand stab and throw the guy out at first base. Pretty solid shortstop.
Yes, he is. He's made 2 outstanding defensive plays in the last week.
Little pop handled by Menachino, backing off the second one away.
Lou's had his chance to come in and play shortstop because Danny McGee has some tendonitis in his shoulder. We've seen Lou play third and a little bit at second, but if he had been in the big leagues for the last week, the 2 plays that he made would have been on SportsCenter a couple of times.
Okay, here's the play last inning. Nice backhand stab. Sets himself up nice. Looks really good with a strong throw to first base. Good infielders know when the ball gets on top of them that quickly, they have a lot more time to set up and make a good throw. And it just makes them look better, too. The ball gets on them quick. They make a nice play. They get a chance to stand up, take their time, gun it over there. Makes it look like a big league play.
Steve, we've been talking about this great facility throughout the broadcast. Brand spanking new. The fact that they blended the new and the old, paid a lot of attention to history, and got the new amenity built. This club almost became the Raleigh Bulls. Heaven forbid. That was certainly a possibility. It got pretty political for the past few years with you guys trying to get the new stadium built.
It was political for a while. All of that was before my time, and I think we're better off right here in downtown Durham, and I think that's where we wanted to be all along.
Well, attendance sure has proved that out. Over 310,000 people through last night's game. That's a new franchise record with 12 dates left here at home. Pretty good support from the fans.
Shooting for 400,000. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Nothing wrong with that.
How about Paul Gonzalez? How solid has he been at third base? Makes another good play to his left here to rob Brett Newell. So 2 away now, and we'll turn over the rest of the half inning to the Durham voice. Go get him, Steve.
Let's see what Manny Jimenez can do here with 2 outs and the base is empty. First one's outside for a ball. Now, you talk about a guy who's swinging the bat better. We're mentioning Lou Benbow. Manny's been over 300 since June. Has his average, as you can see, up to 265. He was known mainly for his glove before this year started.
We talk about tough positions there are to play in certain organizations. Manny Jimenez trying to crack into the big league Braves up the middle. They're pretty strong up the middle in the big league club.
No question about that. So Pratt falls behind 3-0 now.
Blauser and Lemke at the big league level. Now, this is a guy where they started talking about moving him to the front of the order because his average has improved so dramatically, but they like the fact that they kind of have that double leadoff man, 9, and then going to the leadoff man with Jimenez hitting 9.
Manny was swinging 3-0, and he'll hit it deep, and it's gone. Manny Jimenez, with his second home run of the year against the Cannons, his first was on his birthday up there on the 4th of July.
Second home run against the Cannons, his second home run against anybody. 2 home runs this year, all of them against Prince William.
And he was swinging 3-0 and took it to the opposite field.
That's so difficult to go the other way when you're swinging 3-0 because the tendency is to try to want to pull everything. And that's some disciplined hitting. That ball scrapes the back of the fence on its way out and then and then comes back and hits the guy right on the head, Ordonez. And I'll tell you what, guys used to get on me for not being able to hit the ball very far, but when they go out of the park, nobody cares as long as it gets out somehow. I don't care if it lands right in the front row of the bleachers.
Looks like a 500-foot home run in the box score the next morning.
That's
right.
Andre King, the batter. Swing and a miss. Andre's down 0-2.
Steve, you have had a chance to watch these guys day in and day out. You talked to Matt West, the manager, and he says that Andre King, probably the steadiest player they've had all season long.
And he's improved so much from day one, and he was pretty good when he walked in here. He's done an excellent job this year. He's absolutely fantastic defensively. 0-2 pitch from Rich Pratt is high.
We've talked about his willingness to learn, that he really wants that edge. He wants to be the best player he can be. He has some raw tools, and he wants to get better, and that's a great thing to see in a young player.
He works extremely hard.
There you see the skipper, Matt West. He's talked about Andre King. The fact that he's a second-round draft selection would lead some to not play quite as hard, but West describes him as a second-round draft selection that plays and hustles like a 50th rounder.
He really does get after it, and that's why he's improved. He's worked at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Outside, 3-2. And that's one of the things right there that Andre King's improved on. Earlier in the year, he would have gone after that pitch and have been sitting in the dugout, and the inning would have been over. Now he has a better count, and he'll get a better pitch to hit. Let's see what Pratt does here. And it's low, ball 4. So instead of perhaps Andre swinging at a pitch that he shouldn't have, he's at first, and the inning continues.
And he's got a chance. He's in a situation now with his speed that he can run in this situation, put himself in scoring position when the inning would have been over before.
He certainly can run.
Scott Pagano can handle the bat also. It'll be interesting to see what happens here.
They call that man Andre King a 5-tool talent, can run, can throw, can hit for power. Turned down a football opportunity. He was recruited heavily. Passed up a full scholarship at the University of Michigan to sign with the Braves. So there's a kid with some athletics in the body.
Broke his collarbone 2 games into his senior season of high school. And that basically changed his mind right there. He just decided that he liked baseball. The Braves drafted him in a high round, offered him good money, and forget football, let's go play. Pagano hits it to third. Guess who's right there? Gonzalez throws across again, and that'll do it.
Steve Barnes, radio play-by-play voice to the Durham Bulls. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate the opportunity.
Home run by Jimenez makes it 2-1 Bulls. The moon over Tobacco Road. Oh, there's some kind of song about that?
I'm not sure, but you are the song master.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm reaching. Will Polidor leads off this top of the 6th inning and takes a strike. Count 0-2 on Will Polidor.
Moon over Miami, maybe?
That's right. Moon over Havana. That's what it was.
There's the numbers on Micah Bowie. This guy is a tremendous story. And we talk about the fact that Bull Durham was filmed right down the road here at the old stadium. And there's a scene from that movie where one of the players actually got married at home plate. This guy decided to do the same thing. Here's a pretty good look at the tools of ignorance there. Ricocheted all over the place, but it never got skinned.
If you're not already ignorant when you take that gear and put it on, you will be by the time your catching career is over. All the balls will take off the noodle. Next pitch is grounded to third base. Newell there. He's been steady all night long. 1 away for Bowie in the 6th. Micah Bowie, as you mentioned, done got married here in the ballpark in June in between doubleheader games.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's actually a pretty good story. He was in Macon. He was doing very well there, and he talked to his fiancée and said, you know, first movie we ever went to, the first date we ever had, we went to go see Bull Durham. That was their first date. And he said, if I ever get called up to the Durham Bulls, why not get married to also? Just like they did in the movie. And they did.
First pitch to Frank Menachino was slapped past Brett Newell at third base. He can't catch up to this one, and there's one of the longer singles you'll ever see. We talked about base hits off the green monster. Pagano played that one to a single. Well done in left.
Well, there's another reason why Pagano can play it a little deeper than normal outfielders. This ball gets to him in a hurry, and he's got a gun. This is a double in most ballparks. Pagano hustles over, makes a great play on it, and then guns it back into second base. This is a line drive he throws back in there. Watch how well he sets up, rounds off the ball, and has total momentum going towards second base on that throw.
First pitch to Harold Williams is in for a strike. So runner aboard with one away. We're talking about Micah Bowie getting married, and apparently the couple decided that they wouldn't do it unless they had a chance to do it here in Durham. They weren't going to do it in just any minor league park. A lot of minor league ball players around the country decide to get married in the ballpark because the team will pick up the expenses for the wedding cake, the limousine, in some cases the honeymoon. I don't think that factored into it for Bowie.
Wow, maybe I could make a comeback then.
We should get the details from the source, and Mike Mayock is standing by with a likely candidate. Let's go down to Mike.
Yeah, you guys have been telling the wrong story up there, and we're going to go right to the source because I've got Keely Bowie with me. And Keely, I know you're a little upset about that last hit, but give me the background now about your first date with your husband.
Well, he was an hour late, but he brought me a rose, so it was okay.
But what did you do that night?
Oh, well, we went and ate ribs, and then we watched the movie Bull Durham.
They watched the movie Bull Durham. Now, it's a foul ball. Don't worry. It's okay. So how'd the date end up? That's my Chuck Willery impression right there. Love connection. But anyway.
He drove to Abilene to see his brother, actually.
Just seems, and I couldn't resist. Now, a year later to the day, he proposes.
Yes, up on Mount Bunnell in Austin, Texas. So, at sunset.
Well, that's pretty romantic, but how did you buy into this whole thing? Forget the church, by the way. We're doing it at the pitcher's mound.
Well, he called me after he got moved up, and I was real excited. And then, okay, he had double play, okay. Okay, then he called me and said he got moved up here to Durham, and I said, well, I guess we're going to do this on the field. And then he checked with the manager, and he checked with the general manager, and they said, yeah, we have to have parachutes. And so they did everything.
No, wait a minute. Parachutes, you guys didn't parachute.
No, we didn't parachute in. They had
been tough with that dress.
Yeah, the rings parachuted in. So.
Well, Matthew, from the source, there's the story back upstairs.
Problem. How'd we get onto MTV so quickly?
As an addition to that story, their parents actually met first. They had a conversation, they met, and then the kids, the newlyweds, met afterwards.
Wait a minute, now how's that for a ball player? Micah Bowie, first date with his future wife, rent Bull Durham and eat ribs. What a romantic fool.
Hey, hit the ball, get a steak.
Fly ball handled by Pagano in left, and that'll do it for Prince William in the sixth. No runs on a hit, no errors, and a man left. 2-1 Durham.
Pitching duel. It's been a little while on the deuce since we've seen a great pitched ball game by both sides.
Rich Pratt, the starter for the Cannons, still factoring out there for Prince William. Here in the sixth, they'll go to work on Gator McBride, who fouls off the first pitch. 0-1 to McBride. Pratt has been solid, and there you see his numbers.
And once again, we talk about Pratt being able to mix in those breaking balls with his good changeup. Changeup is his out pitch. His fastball he uses to run in on hitters. After he gets them thinking away, throws that ball out over the plate, gets the pitchers or the hitters to lean out over the plate, and then busts them inside. Uses that breaking ball, mixing in everything in very well tonight.
See Pratt shaking off Joe Durso once, and now McBride wants to step out and think about things. One of the things that has come to Durham with the new ballpark, and this was what the folks were hoping for when they built this facility, is certainly a larger limelight. Everybody's taking a look and love this ballpark. Strike 3 as McBride strikes out here to start the 6th. It's also brought a lot of fun to the ballpark. Mike Mayock is entertaining thoughts of just really goofing around and getting a little out of hand. What's he thinking down there?
Hi, Matt. I'm crawling into the tunnel, which is entirely too small for me.
Yeah, well, don't give yourself so much credit down there. It looks like you're fitting through there nicely to me.
Now, it's like my daughter's size here. If she sees this and she's not along with me, she's not going to be happy. It's like, Dad, how come you don't do this with me?
It's taken us 13 games. We finally found the perfect place to keep Mayock.
Here he comes down the slide. Hey, he's back out. He's in the scoreboard again.
Oh! Oh, boy, was that fun. And I don't want to hear anything from you, Lions. I'm out of here.
Did you see the look that little kid was shooting him?
Yeah, he's saying, get out of here. You're way too big for this.
Get this goofball with the tie out of my playground. Counts it a ball and 2 strikes on Wonder Mons.
Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Playing in the playground. Look at the kid running from him. Get me out of here.
You guys still on me? Come on, get out of here.
Mayock took his shoes. 1-2 pitches swung out and missed. 2 strikeouts for Rich Pratt here in the 6th inning.
Rich Pratt is definitely getting better as this game goes on. Into the bottom of the 6th here. He is just mowing hitters down. Last 2 guys he struck out, both on breaking pitches. He's got great command of that. The ball's biting down and into the dirt. And that's a tough pitch to lay off when you have 2 strikes. And he's got great command of his breaking balls right now, and that's what he has to do in order to be successful.
John Knott with 2 away now. Pratt has struck out 6 in 5 2/3.
We're talking about 2 guys that came into this game. Bowie with a 4-10 record. Pratt with 3-9 record. Pratt with a much better ERA at 3.25. But we're seeing 2 very nice pitching performances here. And guys that have a pretty good idea of how to pitch tonight. Biggest thing that will get you to the major leagues is consistency. And when these guys can come out and have nights like this on a consistent basis, they will continue to move up that ladder towards the big leagues.
Ball and a strike for Pratt here on John Knott. 1-1 stays outside to 2-1 now. Knott singled in the 1st inning. He's hitting .306 over his last 15 games, and that's got the overall average up to .263 to start play. One of those Durham bats that's getting hot as the summer continues.
See there, he's showing that fastball way in off the plate just to show everyone he has it. And he generally will come back with a breaking ball.
Misses high and outside with an off-speed pitch, and after 2 strikeouts, John Knott is aboard. Only the second base on balls issued by Rich Pratt through 5 2/3.
Here's the kind of confidence that he has here. He's 3-1, and that's a changeup right there. He's not going to give in to any of the hitters right now, not with a 2-1 score.
You were talking last week on the tour, Steve, about how you're assessing the changeup to be the best pitch in the game. How about a good pickoff for a play? Oh, they had Knott moving, and he was dead picked off. It goes Pratt to Williams to Polidor. We'll talk about the changeup a little later on in the broadcast, and despite the 2-out walk, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Pratt as we take a look at the pickoff again. 2-1 Durham through 6. Juan Thomas will lead things off. The little hurt has been quiet tonight, 0 for 2. Well, Micah Bowie has been tremendous through 6. Strikes out the little hurt with a strike. We talked about his build earlier in the broadcast. That is a build conducive to football, certainly, among other things, and he likely would have ended up as a linebacker at Arizona State back in '91 had it not been for a knee injury he suffered in his hometown of Ashland, Kentucky, right there on the West Virginia border.
Yeah, this guy's got muscles on top of muscles. Talked about his nicknames, a little hurt. Sometimes they just call him Junior. Working on not chasing bad pitches, trying to get balls in the strike zone to hit. And after 2 at-bats where he went out very quickly, this at-bat, you know, getting a chance to see a couple more pitches. They got to get through to him that he needs to hit for average as well as, whoa, as well as power.
Yeah, look out in the prison back there. A bomb over the monster, maybe even out onto the street.
Well, reminiscent of the movie Bull Durham when he comes out after that home run ball and says, wow, there should be flight attendants on anything that flies that far. That is just a nice, easy, even swing. And when a guy that strong puts a decent swing on a fastball out over the middle of the plate.
Not much Micah Bowie can do about that. We'll take a look at the swing again.
Look at this. He's not over swinging here. This is getting better into the count. Look at him. The ball out over the plate. Long gone. Nice little cocking action to get back into a swing. Now he knows this ball's so far history, he can take his time.
That was an absolute seed, and here's Paul Gonzalez now following the home run. For Juan Thomas, 20 home runs, 3rd best in the Carolina League.
Now, the Cannons sewed up the first half championship right here in Durham on a ball that was hit by Juan Thomas down the left field line. They took a tape measure out there. It went so far. They measured it at 452 feet. And that's down the line where generally you don't have your greatest power because you don't have a chance to get extended as far. And that ball into the gap right there over the Budweiser sign into the streets. That ball's still rolling somewhere.
Gonzalez makes good contact to the opposite field. This is going to stay in the park for Pagano. 1 away in the 7th.
And just a couple booths over is Ken Warner, who's the regular second baseman here for the Durham Bulls. He's been treated very nicely up here in the luxury boxes.
I'll say.
Wants to say hello to his mom and dad back home. He's doing okay, even though he's got a broken leg.
I'm sure Ken Warner would rather be out on the field right now.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I think where he's at right now is a likely 2nd place.
He's pretty happy. Oh. Maybe he can weasel himself in for a haircut.
There he is.
There he is.
He's happy. He's got his foot up. He's got the pool cue in one hand.
He's got a Style Master cast on, too. He says, no, don't give me a white cast. Give me a red one.
Probably some racing stripes on the side of it or something like that.
Sure. The guy can run. He could probably steal a couple bases right now, even with the broken leg.
Durso takes a fastball high. Micah Bowie trying to put that big Juan Thomas bomb behind him. Certainly something easier said than done. Going to have a visit to the mound now. Bill Slack, the pitching coach, is going to chat with him.
Wow, Bill Slack. There's a guy, once again, who's been around forever, especially in the Carolina League. Got more wins than any manager in the Carolina League. He's been now with the Braves organization for 11 seasons. He was in the Red Sox organization forever, even when I was coming up through the minor league. So the guy hasn't changed a bit. He looks exactly the same. He's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of ability to pass on to these young pitchers, and does a great job at the A-ball level to try to get these guys the confidence they need to be pitchers out there and to continue to go after hitters.
Juan Thomas just making sure that bat is still okay after he put that hurt in that last pitch that he took. He's saying, look at the damage I can do to a bat. That's the guy that you mistook for Chris Zorich earlier in the day, wasn't he?
He's got a little Chris Zorich in him, doesn't he?
Sure does. Play a little football. That is just a big kid.
All I know, he's not the kind of guy that I'd want mad at me.
Full count on Joe Durso. Here's a pitch home from Bowie. Swung on and missed. Little action on that pitch, tailing away from the right-handed batter.
Yeah, that's what we talked about right there. Bill Slack comes back, gives Bowie a little bit more confidence, calms him down a little bit, says, look, what do you need to do to go out and continue to pitch the way you've been pitching before? It's still a 2-2 game. You've pitched an outstanding game. Continue to go after it. Throws that riding fastball up and away and gets someone to chase it a little bit.
That's 6 strikeouts for Micah Bowie. What do you do as a pitcher? It wasn't the kind of home run that sinks your ship, but you watch something that you've thrown hit as far as that ball Thomas hit. You can't be feeling really good about your game at that point. Got to be tough to come back from something like that as a pitcher.
Sometimes, though, those are the balls where you laugh at a little bit and say, wow, did you see how far that guy just hit a ball off of me? You know, and then, win or lose, if they lose this game, the Durham Bulls, the guys will get on Bowie a couple days later. If they win this game, as soon as they come into the clubhouse, guys will be saying, whoa, did you see how far that ball went? You know, they'll give him a couple days if he loses.
2-2 tie after the Juan Thomas bomb. Andre Newhouse tries to check the swing. The body won't let him. He goes around, and now he's behind 0-2.
I've been very impressed tonight as to the poise of both of these pitchers. He's come back very nicely after that long home run to Thomas. They're all throwing strikes. They're mixing in their pitches very well, which is something that you don't generally see at the A-ball level. We saw a guy swinging 3-0. We saw a guy throwing a 3-1 changeup.
There's a 1-2 breaking ball swung on and missed. 7 strikeouts for Bowie, but the home run for Thomas ties us at 2.
Have the names, addresses, schedules, and phone numbers of every major and minor league team right at your fingertips? It's all here in the Professional Baseball Fan Guide. How about last year's minor league standings, all-star teams, or this season's field managers? It's yours in the Professional Baseball Orange Book. Want to keep up with current happenings around the minor leagues? Then you need baseball news. Call 813-822-6937 and subscribe to the Professional Baseball Bureau service for just $25. Or you may purchase each publication separately. Call today.
Been called the perfect blend of the old and the new here at Durham Athletic Baseball Park. They have paid homage to the old traditions here. They also have initiated some new things, some goofy things, if I might interject. Mike Mayock standing by with the goofy.
Oh, thank you very much for that introduction, Matt. But, you know, you've seen one skybox, you've seen them all, right? Well, not quite so fast. Here we are in the Durham Bulls skybox, and what I'm doing is sitting here about ready to get my hair cut. And Christy Mitchell... Christy, I mean, be careful here. I want a little off the ears. Okay, go ahead. A little off the ears. I don't have a whole lot of hair left, so be careful. Okay, it's not all growing back real quick. All right. But, Christy, how many haircuts do you do a night?
I average about 10.
You average about 10 a night. And so, is it ball players? Is it the owners? What is it?
Starting out with ball players, ends up with winners of the contest they have here.
Winners of the contest. Now, these ball players, single A kind of guys, are they tipping you well, or what's the deal here?
We won't talk about that.
Suffice it to say, we hope that when they get up to AAA and then the major leagues, like Steve Lyons, they're going to leave you the big tip, right?
Remember me.
Well, Matt, we're going to come back. I'm going to get some haircut here, and we'll show you a little bit more of this booth as the game progresses.
Really, to no one's surprise that she's cutting the ball players' hair. It wouldn't take them more than about a day and a half to find that pretty gal to give them a haircut.
Yeah, I bet lots of guys are wandering in there because they need a haircut.
You got bald guys in there getting haircuts.
Yeah, could you trim this a little bit?
Seventh inning as you look into the Durham dugout.
There you go. There's the next candidate on his way up. I need just a little trim. Little off the sides, quite a bit off the top.
Oh, boy. Wives all over the Durham area can't figure out why their husbands with no hair are getting haircuts at the ballpark. David Toth leads off the 7th inning, takes the first pitch, a breaking ball in for a strike. Toth hitless tonight. He was selected for the Carolina League All-Star team at mid-season. In each of these minor league classifications, there are 2 All-Star teams announced, one at mid-season for the All-Star game, and then the postseason All-Star team, which is taken from players of each division. And that's the one, as far as the bragging rights, these guys want to get put on.
No doubt about it. You want to be an All-Star at the end of the year. Toth is a great story, too, because he's always been a backup catcher. He's always had to sit behind another prospect. And they thought he deserved a chance to catch. There wasn't a big prospect at this level that they wanted to have playing every day. And he responded very well. Hitting the ball well, he calls a nice game. Getting that opportunity to play.
Big fly ball to the left. Andre Newhouse makes the catch.
Newhouse was a little bit of Marquise Grissom in him out there, a little look-alike.
You know, one of the things that you find when you talk about players in the Atlanta Braves system like David Toth, guys who at one point or another in their career have struggled, either offensively, defensively, the people that they credit for helping them turn their careers around are oftentimes the instructors in their own system. And it might sound like something fairly commonplace, but in a lot of systems you find guys saying, oh, it was my high school coach that helped me out, my junior college coach. The instruction in the Atlanta system is so good, and one of the names that you hear coming up over and over again, whether it be with middle infielders or hitters, is Glenn Hubbard.
Yeah, this is a guy who's rededicated his life to instructing the younger players after having a great major league career of his own. He could have easily walked away from the game, taken his money. He made enough money in this game to walk away and do nothing. But comes back to the minor league level and really, really helps out. You're absolutely right about that. You hear his name more than any other instructor in the Atlanta Brave organization as a guy who's really helped out.
He's a guy now that he's a coach up in Richmond at AAA in the International League. He's a guy who's basically doing what he wants in the system. He'll rove. He stayed at Richmond for the past couple of years. He could manage in the system. They regard him very highly, and it's nice to see a guy, as you said, who's already made his mark, putting so much back. Counts 2-1 on Lou Benbow, the shortstop. Next pitch home from Rich Pratt. Fastball gets the outside corner. Little activity in the Prince William bullpen. Steve Worrell, left-hander, throwing and warming himself up.
Well, these become the crucial innings for these starting pitchers. They've both done an outstanding job. This is where fatigue starts to set in. You need that ultimate concentration if you're going to continue on in this game, because you're already tired enough to be out of it. So you need the great concentration and the great mechanics now in order to take you through these latter innings.
Lou Benbow gets aboard on a bouncing ball single to the left side. Both bullpens are active. We're in the late stages. We have had a good one tonight from Durham, a 2-2 tie. We've seen 3 home runs tonight. We've seen the cozy configurations of the ballpark factor in, with 1 away and a man on Brett Newell, the hitter. Benbow, the runner aboard, has only attempted 1 stolen base on the year, and he was unsuccessful in that attempt. But still, Rich Pratt wants to keep him close. This is coming to play in other A-ball games we've watched this year, Steve. One of the differences you see in Class A's compared to AA, AAA is that pitchers are very, very concerned with base runners at the lower levels, sometimes to a fault.
Sometimes too concerned, and they've never really developed a great move, not only to first base or to home plate. That's something that you hone a little bit later, but you have to start thinking about it at the A-ball level, because you just can't have guys stealing you blind. Pratt's done a pretty nice job of trying to hold guys over there. He's shown them a couple different moves and picked someone off tonight.
Newell shows bunt, pops it up in the air, but it rolls foul before Durso can get out from behind the plate. There,
right there, you see third base coach, Matt West, giving all the signals and pointing to his eyes saying, look, I need both the hitter and the guy at first base looking at me. I don't want someone missing the sign, so I have to redo them. This is a situational point of the game where we may look to hit and run. We may look to steal. Hit and run, the biggest thing that you have to worry about right now, especially with the left-hander on the mound, is don't get picked off.
Throw over to first. It looked like Benbow wanted to move, and he dances back just in time. Run through those signs again. I'll tell you, it looked like a Curly Howard impersonation going on at third base by Matt West. Durso sets up aggressively behind the plate. There's a ground ball to the left side. It gets through Gonzalez. A rare miscue out of Paul Gonzalez. He was in the midst of a solid night at third base, lifts up a little early. We'll take a look at it again.
Yeah, you can see he gets over there, does a little stutter step. The ball takes a funny hop on him, and he just doesn't get down to catch it. Ball rolls right under his glove. Hits the base. Yeah. Is over there very aggressively, very aware of what's going on. He made a nice play to back up that play. And now once again, you put yourself in a situation offensively where you can do a few more things here at the plate.
Joe Durso goes to the mound now. Perhaps this is a stall tactic for Worrell to get himself ready. Gonzalez with the rare miscue, and there's runners aboard now.
Talked about maybe a hit-and-run situation. We saw the runner was in motion on that play, and the hitter swung at the ball. It wasn't a hit-and-run because of the jump that Benbow had off of first base. He went almost on his first move. Pratt's first move, he was stealing. On a hit-and-run, there's no way you can do that because the cardinal sin in a hit-and-run is getting picked off the first base.
So it's Manny Jimenez. He got the solo home run in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and there's those signs. What does that all mean?
Ball and no strikes on Manny Jimenez, and now time is called. What likely would Matt West be calling for in that situation, Steve?
Well, you look at the situation right now with one out. He probably doesn't have anything on right now. Hit and run's not all that likely with guys on first and second. Benbow looked like he might be moving on the play. You could have a double steal opportunity. Looking to put some pressure. Pratt isn't all that quick to the plate when he makes that move. And with Benbow leaning on that play right there, he may have just taken off any sign that he just had on.
Manny Jimenez, the guy at the plate, earlier in the season, in an attempt to exercise the demons that had set in here at Durham. Durham at one point had lost 13 in a row this year. That's the 8th longest losing streak in the history of the Carolina League. As you take a look at the runners again, that's Benbow at second, Newell at first. Jimenez, while most hitters were taking extra BP and doing extra work, did something a little different. There's a comebacker to the mound. Pratt goes to second for one. Relay back to first is in time. And Pratt dodges a bullet in the 7th. He initiates the double play to keep us tied up at 2 through 7. Excursion, Steve Lyons and Mike Mayock, and that guy back with you from Durham. The YMCA, everything that's old is new again, and it's a 2-2 tie as we pick up the action in the 8th.
Hey, they say it's never too late to exercise. Get up and do it.
A new pitcher on the mound for the host Durham Bulls. It's Marcus Hostetler taking over for Micah Bowie, who was very solid tonight for 7. Bowie was outstanding, as a matter of fact, as you look at Hostetler's numbers.
Now, obviously, he hasn't had a chance to pitch too much. This is just his 3rd game, 4 1/3 innings pitched right there, giving up 4 hits. Coming in and trying to establish himself here in Durham.
You think his nickname might be Haas?
Could be.
going to take a look at the double play again that got the Cannons out of a big threat.
Look at this by Polidor. Generally, look at him. He's nowhere near the bag there. And you'll say, a lot of people say, well, the second baseman, the shortstop, they're never on the bag when you make a double play ball. The difference is you don't have to really be on the bag if the play is going smoothly. If the throw pulls you off the bag, then generally the umpires will call the guy safe. Pretty liberal call out there on that double play ball.
Boy, I tell you, I've heard of in the vicinity.
And little neighborhood.
That's within the same zip code out there. Sandy McKinnon leads off for Prince William here in the 8th against Hostetler. It's a bunt on the first pitch out of the chute, and Hostetler fails to pick up cleanly. Wow. McKinnon will be aboard.
Hostetler really had trouble with that. You know those guys in the Cannons dugout right now are saying, you'll watch him chase this ball around.
We're going to take a look at that again. McKinnon wasting no time.
Here, all the guys in the Cannons dugout right now are saying, hey, follow that thing around and see what it eats. Look at him, off the heel of his glove, try to barehand it. Nope. He just had a chance there. He took his eyes off the ball each time when he wanted to go make the play. Instead of right there staying with the pitch, staying with the ball coming back to him, and then making the play. He had plenty of time. He's the pitcher.
It goes as an error on the pitcher. Runner goes on the next pitch. You throw down from Toth, sails offline and hits McKinnon. It'll be a stolen base for McKinnon to put the go-ahead run at second with nobody out.
That hit him right off the left hip. Now, if I'm a catcher and I don't throw the guy out, I'd just soon have that happen. You know what I mean? If I'm not going to get you, I hope the ball hits you. Pretty good jump by McKinnon. That's what we've talked about before. He needs to work on that. He has been caught stealing 12 times this season. That's not a great ratio. Stolen 2 bases tonight, though.
So with McKinnon at second base, nobody out, an opportunity for Polidor at the very least to get him at the third with one away. The corners are in defensively for Durham. Tied up 2-2, top of the 8th inning from Durham tonight.
Expecting a bunt situation here.
But Polidor really making no bones about it. He's going to give himself up there.
And plus, by doing that, a lot of times a manager will tell you, look, don't square around and bunt early. Don't let everybody in the ballpark know that you're going to do it. And then other managers will say, yeah, go ahead and do it because we like to use that slap, the slap play where you act like you're going to bunt and then pull the bat back and slap the ball through the infield. Because as soon as he starts to show bunt, the whole infield is on the move.
Polidor shortens up and takes the pitch low and outside. Manager Dave Huppert flashing signs all around the infield.
A lot of people might wonder what all those signs mean, and what it really comes down to is most of them don't mean anything. Every manager has what they call an indicator. And then after he gives the indicator, Huppert's indicator might be his nose. If he touches his nose, then the next place he touches is the live sign. So if he never, let's just say it was his nose, nothing's on right now because he never even touched his nose. So all of what he was doing down there goes for naught.
2-1. Hostetler works out of the stretch again. The corners are in. Polidor shortens up again and takes a pitch low. It'll go to 3-1. More fun from Dave Huppert.
You can see Huppert stays right about on his left and right chest and his left and right thigh. That's kind of the Bock signs. It's pretty much you have the indicator, and then your right chest is a bunt, your right thigh is a steal, your left chest is a hit and run, and your left thigh might be a take sign. So you know the signs, and then if he doesn't go to the indicator, he can do anything he wants there. But once he goes to an indicator, which might be his cheek or his cap, if everybody on the team knows what it is, and the key is to make sure that the other team doesn't, then he goes to that live sign, and then that's how you determine what you're doing at the plate and what the base runners are doing on the bases.
2 strikes. Let's see what's on here. Polidor swinging away, fouls one off.
Those managers usually go through those signs very quickly, and sometimes it's tough to pick up. When I played for Rene Latchman in Boston, he had the best signs ever. He used to call them dummy signs. He said, it doesn't matter what I do. After I'm done doing it, if I clap one time, that's a bunt. If I clap twice, that's a steal. If I clap 3 times, hit and run.
It's a wonder these guys can remember what that token is after they've gotten through all the movements. I mean, and I'll tell you one thing right now, looking down at Dave Huppert in that third base coaching box, you're looking at Matt West there in the Durham dugout, but Huppert's got that classic third base coach posture. The legs spread farther than the shoulders, your waist slightly up. Next pitch is line to second, over Jimenez into right field. McKinnon didn't have a chance to break off the bag because it looked as though Jimenez might make that play, so McKinnon gets as far as third, and there's runners at the corners now for Frank Menachino. A little bit of a rally being put together now for Prince William. Let's take a look at that again. Jimenez almost made this play.
Look at him. Just if I was an inch taller. McKinnon does a great job of going back to second base. They always say freeze on a line drive or get yourself back in an area where you can tag if it's caught. There's no way McKinnon can score on that play because he was doing the right thing in the first place. If he's headed towards third base, that's a double play ball if the ball gets caught.
Big opportunity for Menachino now. Nobody out for the Cannons. Off-speed pitches in for a strike. Man on third base is Sandy McKinnon. He opened by reaching on the error, then he stole second. Will Polidor at first base. There you see McKinnon, Polidor on the right side of your screen off of first.
When they talk about Frank Menachino, they talk about a guy who is a hard worker, comes to play every day, doesn't have a whole lot of talent. He's not gifted with great ability. Doesn't have great footwork out there at second base. He doesn't have a whole lot of range, but he plays hard, and he's one of the team leaders on this ball club because he brings an attitude to the ballpark every day that he wants to play.
There's a swing and a pop-up on the left side out from shortstop Lou Benbow. The play stays with it to make the catch and prevents McKinnon from coming home. Going out like that with a man at third, is your shortstop the guy you want to make that play?
Usually your shortstop you want him to make that play if, in fact, he can get out there and get under it. But because of Pagano playing so deep, look, Pagano doesn't catch this ball. He can't get in there, and he's coming full bore right now. There you see Benbow looking for Pagano. He's nowhere near the picture, so he understands that he has to get out there a lot further into left field than he might normally would have to if there's a different left fielder out there.
They're going to make a move. They're going to go out to Del Matthews. We're going to have a pitching change. Prince William threatening in the eighth, tied up 2-2. Let's see what the bullpen has to offer.
Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this game.
Commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean? He's over there. He's on Lucy. What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal. Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that?
Says there's nothing good on TV.
I almost missed one of your favorite comments to make about arena football. Football without sidelines, these guys are crazy. I love that.
There you see Del Matthews' numbers. His first pitch in relief misses outside. Do I sound that cheesy when I do that?
No, I like that a lot.
Okay. Sandy McKinnon at third base. Off of first base is Will Polidor. They're aboard with one away. Del Matthews trying to keep a 2-2 score up on the scoreboard. Harold Williams tonight is 0 for 3. The starter was Micah Bowie. Did a great job for 7 innings. Marcus Hostetler came on for a third of an inning. Now it's up to Del Matthews.
A little bit surprised at the defensive alignment right here. Every one of the infielders are playing at double play depth, which means that they need a double play here. But a lot of times in this situation, you'd have your corner guys, your first and third baseman in, because if they got a ball that they couldn't turn a double play on, they'd try to cut that run down at the plate.
There's a strike into Williams. Down to 2-2. Del Matthews, one of those guys in high school that did it all, played first base and pitched. Most organizations that looked at him for a pro bid thought of him as a first baseman. The Braves were one of the exceptions there. And it took a while for that idea to sink in with Del Matthews because he wanted to play a position. He wanted to hit.
He did want to hit, and he'll find out very quickly that left arm of his is like gold if he can continue to throw strikes. He's had a little bit of trouble with that. We always talk about that strikeout to walk ratio. Wow, there's a big frisbee curveball he threw in there. He struck out 56 guys, and he's walked 34 guys. And so he's really had trouble throwing his curveball for strikes, and he's got to be able to throw that pitch as a lefty and get it over the plate. He's been kind of a swingman for the Bulls so far this season. He's 6-8 on the year. This is his 24th appearance, but he's also made 14 starts on the year. So he's come out of the pen in long relief. He's come out for some short relief like we're seeing him tonight, and he's also started 14 games. So he's trying to find his niche, and I think they're trying to figure out where he's most effective within the organization.
It's a full count on Harold Williams there. You see McKinnon from third, Polidor off first with one away. Big pitch coming up here for Del Matthews. Runner goes on the next pitch. It gets away from David Toth. Scampering home from third is McKinnon. Tough way to lose your double play situation and to lose a run. Del Matthews isn't real happy about it.
Now, neither manager here in these situations late in the game have been scared to put their guys in motion. Guys running all over the base paths, stealing bases. Toth didn't do a great job of blocking the ball here. Look, he's got to get down and smother this ball, and he's almost bailing out of there. He's got to get on his knees and invite the ball to hit him. Smother it, get his elbows and his shoulders curled out around, and you can see he's almost thinking about bailing out there. He may have gotten crossed up because he didn't look like he was real ready to field that ball.
So now it's Maglio Ordonez, right-handed batter, takes a pitch for a strike. Well, the go-ahead run comes across on a wild pitch, ball 4. Prince William with a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 8th.
Oh, you need a ground ball out here. You need a ground ball double play situation to keep yourself in this ball game right now. You don't want to let this get away from you for as well as this game's been pitched.
Bullpen activity behind Matthews. That's Jeff Bock, right-hander. He's ready to go should they want to go his way.
I don't know that they're going to let the left-hander face big Juan Thomas after the ball he hit last time.
Another ball that gets away from David Toth. Count to 1-1. It is Juan Thomas who's on deck. That's Polidor at second, Williams at first. 3-2. Prince William is broken in front on a wild pitch, ball 4 here in the 8th. There's the big old hog on deck. Look at the shoulders on that guy. Next pitch on line to third. Newell there to make the play. Zips the throw back into first in time to double off Williams. Brett Newell's been outstanding at the hot corner tonight. The 5-3 double play really minimizes the damage.
Yeah, there's a double play any way you can get it.
What could have been a huge inning for Prince William in the 8th gives him only 1 run. It's enough to take the lead. 3-2 Cannons.
Prince William, bottom of the 8th. Take a look at that play again. Brett Newell, great play getting up for this line drive. Look at him check second on his way down, then check first, guns it across the first. Williams, I'm not sure where he thought he was going. Polidor's on second base. He can't run up his back. Newell's showing some outstanding ability. We've seen some great third base play.
So we got ourselves a ball game here, 3-2. Prince William, the visitors, on top as we get to the bottom of the 8th. Let's check back in with Mike Mayock. Mike.
Thanks, Matt. You know, life is real tough down here in the Bulls box. You can see the bull behind me, pool table in front of me. Got a little pressure here on this first shot. Everybody's been checking me out and giving me abuse. Let's see what happens.
Oh, no way. No way. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Now I got 2 in the corner.
Oh, you're done, Mayock. Look at him go. All right.
See what I left myself?
Yeah.
Got that going for me.
I've seen better breaks on a Pinto.
I think Mayock's trying to shark people in the Bulls box over there.
That may have been the worst exhibition of billiards I've ever seen in my life.
That's right up there with his speed pitch prowess, I'll tell you. Steve Worrell is the new pitcher for the Prince William Cannons. There you see his numbers. Pretty nasty, Ernie.
0.74. Little stingy with the hits. There you see that strikeout to walk ratio that we talk about so much. 38 strikeouts, 7 walks. Means he's challenging some hitters, and he's keeping the ball in the strike zone, and he's getting them to swing at a lot of pitches and missing.
Well, Durham behind by a run as we get into the bottom of the 8th inning. They'll send up their top of the order here in the bottom of the 8th. King, Pagano, and McBride. Andre King hitless tonight. Worrell's first pitch in relief here in the 8th is bunted up in the air. Durso flips the mask, but it's against the screen.
Well, that shows you the kind of confidence that King has in his bunting ability, considering Gonzalez was pretty much down his throat at third base looking for the bunt, and he still tried it anyway, fouled it off. He's in a situation here, bottom of the 8th inning. He's looking to get on any way he can, take some pitches if he can.
Both teams well into their bullpen. This is the first move to the bullpen that the Prince William Cannons had made. It was Rich Pratt through 7. He was outstanding, as was the Bull starter Micah Bowie.
There's the skipper.
King fouls off another pitch. We've talked about how tough it is to get to the major leagues at various positions. This is the way the Braves go about it when they're drafted out of high school, college, wherever. They start likely at Danville or Eugene. West Palm Beach is the rookie rehab level. Macon, Durham, and A-ball. Then it's up to Greenville and Richmond.
You look at Macon right there. They have the possible player of the year in all of the minor leagues, Andrew Jones, who's a 20-50 guy. 20 home runs, possibly 50 RBIs, or 50 stolen bases this season. And probably will drive in over 100 runs also. You look right through the organization. Jermaine Dye also in Greenville, another guy who's having an outstanding season. And at the major league level with Klesko and Justice and Mike Kelly and Marquise Grissom, a couple guys right here. Wonderful Mons. And the guy right there on first base. So a tough road to hoe there to get to the big leagues.
Scott Pagano, the batter now. Andre King aboard on the leadoff single. Pagano gives himself up, shows bunt, throw down to first. The infield corners were coming in, and they don't have a chance to pick off King. The Braves have a great situation in their minor league system in that they own their AAA and AA clubs. There's no independent operation going on. The Atlanta Braves own the Richmond Braves, and that way there are no qualms about player moves, about personnel. They push all the buttons themselves, operationally and on the field. Fairly unusual situation. The Cubs own some of their minor league affiliates. The exception there being their AAA level. They own a lot of their lower level clubs.
I think a lot of organizations feel like it's just a little bit too much of a hassle and one more thing to have to worry about. So they let a minor league affiliate go ahead and own the organization. I'll send my players there. We'll keep an eye on our players, but you can go ahead and take care of the expenses.
This Durham affiliate is not one of the clubs that's owned by parent Atlanta. Manager Dave Huppert, again with the signals. This time he's doing it from in the dugout as his team is on the field defensively. Again, Pagano shortens up, drops down the bunt. Off the mound, Worrell will go to first. Sacrifice gets King to second.
Here's Pagano. Hey, look at Gonzalez charging the way he should. I really like when a third baseman comes in hard. The bunt on that play should go to the right side of the infield, either to the first base side or back towards the pitcher. If you make a mistake, the third baseman, who has no other responsibility, should be right there in order to suck up that mistake and possibly get a guy out at second base.
Well, that's going to be all for Worrell to have another pitching change. Playing the percentages late in the ballgame are the Prince William Cannons. We will have the second change of the inning, and we're going to go to a break. Prince William hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Good tight ball game as we're into the 8th inning. 3-2 Prince William. They're trying to hang on for the road win, and they've turned it over to the relief. It'll be Archie Vasquez to take over.
And relief he does do. 1-4 on the year, 19 saves. He's the guy they call for when it gets into this situation during the game.
This guy was virtually unhittable last year in the South Atlantic League. Last year, opponents hit just 156 against this kid.
That's not good.
That's a buck and a half. Here's Gator McBride, runner at second base. One away. The Bulls trail by a run. It's 3-2 Prince William. Everybody has stuck around the ballpark tonight. You see Andre King measuring off second base. Here's the next offering home, and it misses outside.
Well, you know, Gator McBride would like to come up with one of those opposite field blasts right now at this point in the game.
Vasquez out of the stretch. There's the pitch in for a strike. Well, a close game like this, we've been working all day. Sometimes a man can get a little hungry, I suppose. See how hungry Vasquez is, and the next pitch misses inside. Three and one on Gator McBride. I got to believe Vasquez is going to be careful to this hitter with 3-1. Gets him to swing, and he loops a little Judy out to short center field. Andre King can run a little bit. He'll score without a throw, and we're tied up 3-3.
McBride, you can see why he had the numbers he had last year, 338. Watch him go with this pitch. Once again, this is a 3-1 pitch. That ball's out away from him. Does a pretty good job of hitting it right back up the middle. A lot of guys, when they get 3-1, especially this late in the game, start thinking, I'm going to hit one out of the ballpark. And if you think that way, look at him, stays right with it, doesn't get too far out over his front leg, hits the ball right back up the middle. And that's a little duck snort. But he'll take it. It's an RBI, and that's a crucial hit in this game for the Bulls.
That is really a great at-bat from Gator McBride. Wasn't a bad pitch. Vasquez was trying to be careful with him, knowing he had first base open, 3-1. But still, McBride gets to him.
Sometimes you throw a pretty good pitcher's pitch, and the guy still stays with it very well. He has a good idea of what he wants to do up there. Vasquez is a spot pitcher. He's going to throw to his spots. You can see by the way he's throwing the ball that he's not overpowering. Very fluent on the mound out there. Moves the ball in and out, works on his fastball, throws a little slider. His job and his abilities dictate that he has to hit spots in order to be effective.
Big opportunity for wonderful, terrific Mons the third. And the pitch to him is cranked up and hit well to left. They're back at the monster, and it's off the wall. McBride flips around second, and there's the longest single you're ever going to see. Oh, what a tough break for the Bulls. Wonderful Mon absolutely crushed that ball. Got it off the fence. We're going to take a look at it again.
Watch Sandy McKinnon if you can. He gets to the wall. He knows he's going to have to play the carom, but he pulls a big league deke play, almost acting like he could catch the ball. He gets the carom back off. Gator tripping and falling and ended up in the swamp. He can't go any further than second base.
Runners at first and second. Now John Knott will look to continue the damage. First pitch, fastball stays high, brushes him back.
I think Gator McBride, what he should have done was gone around second base a couple steps and then look to see if the ball's going to be caught. Because if it is caught, you still have time. He has pretty good speed to re-tag second and head back to first base and tag up. But he stopped about 20 feet short of second base, and then when the ball wasn't caught, had to restart himself, touch second base, get around it, and try to go for third, and that's when he ended up in some trouble out there.
We're tied up 3-3 late. We might be here a little longer than we anticipated. We might be getting hungry. I'm already starting to get a little bit hungry. It could be a long night. And look at you, but shameless. Bothering the patrons for food.
I wanted a nacho.
You're brutal. Look at that. At least you had the good sense to wrap your tie around your back so you wouldn't get salsa all over yourself.
I just had one. Those camera guys, they're all over the place.
Yeah, they don't miss a trick, I'll tell you. 2-0 on John Knott. Runners aboard. There's Gator McBride off second, and the pitch home to John Knott misses low and outside. 3-0. Wonderful Monza runner at first. Wonder for short. Gator McBride at second. 3-0 on John Knott. Nobody up in the bullpen behind Vasquez. This is his to lose. Here's the pitch home on 3-0. It's in for a strike.
You look at Gator McBride out there at second base. I got on him a little bit for his style and his fundamentals as far as getting to second base. Now, say something good that he's doing out there. He gets a very aggressive secondary lead. He gets an aggressive lead so he can score on a base hit. Moving towards third base as the pitch is thrown to home plate. The ball's hit. He's ready to move towards third base and ready to score on a base hit.
Ball 4-0. Big opportunity for David Toth. After the solid 7 from Rich Pratt, the Prince William bullpen has fallen apart behind its starter. They're loaded. They're full of cannons. First pitch to David Toth, check swing, foul ball. They're loaded for the Bulls. My mistake. They're loaded up against the cannons.
Yeah, they're hoping that Toth doesn't have a cannon. Here's a great situation for Toth to be in. We talked about earlier how this guy's always kind of been stuck behind other guys, not having the opportunity to play on an everyday basis. No real catching prospect in the organization at this level. He's getting his chance to play, and what a great opportunity for him right here.
Line drive to shortstop. Polidor to, oh my gosh. Menachino gets there to make the play. The double play effectively kills it. Oh, you couldn't ask for something better if you're a Prince William fan. We remain tied 3-3. Camera action. Back in 1988, Hollywood brought its crews out to Durham NC. The old Durham Athletic was the site for the production of Bull Durham. It was a movie that really put minor league baseball on the map and exposed the game to an audience that never knew this strange subculture existed. Insiders were amazed at how frighteningly accurate some of the depictions were. Susan Sarandon, Kevin Costner, the stars, Bull Durham. We got a good one from the home of the Bull Durham. The Durham Bulls and the Prince William Cannons are tied up in 3s as we start playing the 9th inning. Matt Vasgersian back with Steve Lyons and Mike Mayock. been a good one tonight, sir.
Yeah, and Matt, we're at a situation now, 9th inning, 3-3 score, and you have Juan Thomas strolling to the plate. Now, we talked about this guy being an all-or-nothing guy. We've already seen him hit a huge, mammoth blast over everything in left center field. This is the time that he gets paid to go to work. He will be swinging from his heels, swinging for the trees on every hack he takes up there on this at-bat.
Bill Matthews certainly aware of that. Boy, double play balls in the top and the bottom of the 8th innings when it looked like both teams were on the verge of pushing across some big numbers. That is in part why we're still tied up 3-3 here in the top of the 9th. Juan Thomas with those big old pipes. Couldn't think of a better thing to ride across that big chest than cannons.
That's right. Almost doesn't fit.
I would expect that if Juan Thomas would rip open his jersey, he'd have a big tattoo of a clipper ship underneath there with the inscription of Mother on the bottom.
Or just an S. Superman.
He's behind 1-2 here. Matthews out of the wind 1-2.
How about that? Right after I said that he wouldn't get cheated on his swings, he takes the first 2 pitches for strikes.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. Again, Matthews out of the wind. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Came inside on him and struck him out.
Well, there's an odd location for an off-speed pitch there. Generally, if you throw something off-speed, you want the ball away from a hitter. He ties Thomas up inside with this little change-up. See that ball coming down and in. Not a whole lot on that one. Generally, you don't want to leave a pitch that doesn't have a whole lot of pace on it inside because guys can get to it and really hammer it.
Left-handed hitting Paul Gonzalez now. He singled home the first run for Prince William back in the 2nd inning. He's been quiet since. Only appropriate that we should see the Durham Bulls into their bullpen. It was Hostetler after Micah Bowie. Now Del Matthews. The term bullpen is thought to have originated here in Durham. There's a pitch that misses inside on Gonzalez. It was thought way back when that holding cell for relief pitchers was referred to as the pen. No bull about it.
And it just happened to have been underneath the ball in the old stadium, or what?
You are correct. Swing and a miss from Gonzalez. There was a big bull that gave shade to the pen where the relief pitchers would sit. Thus, bullpen, and the term has stuck ever since. There's probably a little bit of legend in that, a little bit of myth. 2-2 to Gonzalez. He's fouled away. He stays alive.
If I was in that pen, I'd be worried that the ball might give me a little bit more than just shade.
You got to watch where you're stepping back then. Do you notice all the hay bales out there? We had to walk through a bunch of hay bales to get to our positions here.
It's that good homey feeling.
Again, a change on the inside gets the hitter. Gonzalez strikes out looking on the inside off-speed stuff.
Look at a big winding frisbee-type slider. Gonzalez kind of thinks that's going to hit him, and it breaks way away from him out over the plate for strike 3. He's looking and saying, I don't really want to see that one anymore.
Catcher Joe Durso now, long drive, well hit to left field. Pagano back, he looks up, bye-bye. Over the monster. Joe Durso with a 2-out home run in the top of the 9th inning. Prince William back on top by a run.
That's what we talked about. These guys come up in the 9th. They want to do something big. They want to get that big home run. No home run too much bigger than a 2-out 9th inning blast. And when he hit this ball, look how he loads up to hit. Great swing. Look at it. He knows it's gone, and then he says, ooh, the blue monster's out there. I better make sure it gets up over that thing. He knows he crushed this pitch.
Lights were in jeopardy there. First pitch home to Andre Newhouse is a base hit to the opposite field.
He stood and watched it.
I like some of the back action on that swing from Durso. Wrapped it around the head.
Oh, yeah. tell you what, when you hit a ball like that, you know it's gone, and you have a little bit more of an opportunity to hang around.
That home run for Joe Durso ended a 1-for-13 spell he had been in. Couldn't have chosen a better time to come out of it. The bomb puts Prince William on top. If you're liking this action tonight, we will be in Chattanooga just a few days from today. Double-A Southern League Baseball. Double-A affiliates of the Oakland A's and the Cincinnati Reds, the Huntsville Stars, and the Chattanooga Lookouts. Kind of a redo of the 1990 World Series in Double-A 5 years later. That's Thursday right here on the Deuce.
Makes it a lot easier to put that gear back on after you take that short, slow trot around the bases.
Little visit to the mound by the skipper. Matt West out to chat with Del Matthews. There is activity in the bullpen behind the left-hander, and they're going to make a move. That'll be all for Del Matthews. They're going to the bullpen with 1 run in and 2 men out. Prince William leads it by a run late. Well, left-hander Del Matthews thought he was out of the woods with 2 away, and catcher Joe Durso coming up, who had been 1 for his last 13, a .211 hitter, but that $2.11 hitter got to him, a home run to put Prince William in front. So Durham has gone to the bullpen. It'll be Jeff Bock. Bock working with a run in at a 4-3 deficit. There you see his numbers, and what a great story he is. You talk about some history with this franchise. Jeff Bock's father was the Durham Bulls general manager in the early 80s when the team went through its resurrection. But to go back even farther, Jeff Bock's grandfather pitched here in Durham at the old Durham Athletic Field. When he passed away 2 decades later, he had requested that his ashes be spread on the pitcher's mound. That request was heeded. And then in 1994, his grandson Jeff pitched on the very same mound. Really a neat story.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this guy, you talk about a Durham Bull. This guy is a Durham Bull.
He's in the soil.
Runner goes on the first pitch home to Sandy McKinnon, and the pitch gets away from David Toth. It'll be a stolen base for Newhouse. He was running on the play. So Prince William isn't going to stop playing. They get the go-ahead run, but they'd like an insurance run here if they possibly can.
See, there's once again Toth having a little problem blocking the ball there. It's a little tougher when the guy does run, but you got to get down and block that ball to make sure that he doesn't end up on third base.
So now a base hit for McKinnon can give Prince William a 2-run advantage. Next pitch from Bock misses low and outside.
We've talked about how aggressive these managers both have been. If they've been tied up or with a 1-run lead at any point in this game, runners have been running, they've been hitting and running, they've been very aggressive on the bases, and like you said, they are not giving in right now just because they have 1 run. They're continuing to go at it.
That Bock gets McKinnon to pop up, and there will be no damage after the home run by Durso. It was damaging, however, it makes it 4-3 Prince William as we go to the bottom of the 9th. The table is set for some late drama by the host Durham Bulls. They trail by a run. We get to the bottom of the 9th inning. Archie Vasquez will continue on the mound. Those guys, the Durham Bulls, will send up their bottom third of the order to try to get a run. Our trip through storied Durham, North Carolina. The Bulls would love it to end with a win. There's the man of the hour for Prince William, Joe Durso. His 2-out home run in the top of the 9th inning has given Prince William its lead.
Once again, Benbow's been up there a few times, has acted like he's going to bunt a little bit. You see Gonzalez down there at third. He's going to start coming in a little tighter towards the line, come sneaking in a little bit on Benbow. He's not going to let him have a bunt. There you see him.
First pitch in the bottom of the ninth is slapped down the line into the corner. That's extra bases for Benbow. It's going to be a ground rule double as it pops into the stands, apparently. Oh, my comeback. These two teams have just gone after each other tonight.
Now here's the replay on Benbow. This ball's going to get way in on him, but he keeps his hands in, gets the head of the bat on it. Good things can happen when you do that. Slices it right down the line for a double. And once again, now we're going to start to see those managers go through all those signs. You can pretty much bet that Newell hitting under 100 is going to be laying a ball down here.
He indeed squares around to bunt, takes a fastball high. Well, we had noted it last inning in the 8th when Vasquez was in trouble. Nobody stood up behind him. And again, it appears it's his to save or lose. Gonzalez comes in to field the bunt. The sacrifice works, and they put the tying run at third with one away.
Hey, we've seen Newell have a great day defensively at third base. A little bit of a tough night at the plate, but this is a great bunt he lays down. We talked about the fundamentals of the game and which side you should bunt the ball to. Has to bunt that ball to the left side of the infield, make the third baseman field the ball so that the runner on second can easily get to third.
Manny Jimenez now.
Now the infield plays in. They're going to try to cut the run off at home plate. Jimenez has got to try to lift the ball into the outfield, drive the ball into the outfield somehow.
Infield in for him. There's a pitch that's hit over the pulled-in second baseman, and we are tied up at 4.
Enthusiasm in the eyes of these guys. It's a great feeling to watch a kid in A ball in Durham slice a base hit into right center field and jump up and down on his way down the line.
Two right-handed hitters have come on to slice shots go the other way against the right-hander Archie Vasquez. And now Andre King looking to further the damage. Jimenez has stolen 7 bases. He's aboard at first, and the fans are absolutely loving it here in Durham.
And now it's Matt West's work. Time to go to work and see if he can't get something going for his team.
A pitch to Andre King is hit pretty well. Playable in left center for McKinnon, however. Jimenez will scamper back to first. Boy, off the bat, it really looked like King got that ball.
Well, I'm really looking for Jimenez to be running in this situation. To have Pagano leading off the next inning, the 10th inning. There's the swing, gets in on him just a little bit. It's a can of corn out there in left field. Good time to be running right here. Get yourself in scoring position with 2 outs, and if not, you still have the opportunity for Pagano to lead off the next inning. Comes West with all the signs. Pagano checking them all out. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pitch out.
Jimenez with a pretty aggressive lead at first base. Vasquez takes a look at him. Change misses high. Jimenez, the runner at first base, is a superstitious sort. We talked about the 13-game losing streak that the Bulls were mired in a little while back. To break out of it, Manny Jimenez took an off day, drove down to Myrtle Beach, and jumped backwards into the Atlantic Ocean. It's a family tradition for warding off bad luck. Jump backwards into the ocean. Back home in Dominican, that's how he got it done. Maybe he did a little of that backward jumping before this game tonight.
Just came up with a big knock for the Bulls right there. If you're wondering about his stolen bases number, he's stolen 7 bases, but he's been caught 6 times, so it's kind of a 50-50 prospect with him. Gotta think he might be going, though.
There he goes. Pitch is slapped foul. We've got some activity now in the Prince William bullpen. Todd Rizzo, the left-hander, is up and throwing. Well, you really believe they wanted to win this thing with Vasquez.
No doubt about it. He's the guy that's been closing the door for your team all night long. Had the chance to get the victory there.
2-2 with the runner going again. It's grounded to first base. Playable for Williams. He steps on the bag, and we're going to extra innings. A run in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Durham Bulls makes it 4-4. We're going to the 10th, baby. Tied up 4 apiece. Extra innings on the tour tonight. We go to the 10th. Prince William gets a run in the top of the 9th inning. It looks like they're going to close it down. Durham gets a run in the bottom of the 9th inning to tie it. It looks like they might get the winning run in the 9th, but indeed we are in extra innings. Let's go down to Mike Mayock. Mike.
You know, when you get a new facility, nice things happen, and that includes heading into the clubhouse. Now remember, this is a single-A ball club. You got a little bit of a walk here. Cutting around. Guys heading into the men's room. Good. Past the batting cage. Make another turn. If I was a mouse, I'd be lost already. And then you come into the clubhouse and check this out for a single-A club. Not bad. Check this out. You got all the food you can eat, anything you can drink, big stalls. This reminds me when I played for the New York Giants. The stalls are that big. And look who's here. Starting pitcher, Micah. Got to tell you, nice job out there. Your wife was a star tonight, too.
Thank you. She's very pretty.
Well, we...
broadcast journalism.
What a surprise. I figured that out. That's Micah. Tonight, back upstairs, guys.
Yet somebody else on the tour that wants our job.
Yeah. Giants, the stalls are that big. And look who's here. Starting pitcher, Micah. How you doing? That, by the way, got to tell you, nice job out there. Your wife was a star tonight, too.
Thank you. She's very pretty.
Well, what did you tell me she majored in?
Broadcast journalism.
What a surprise. I figured that out. That's Micah Bowie, starting pitcher tonight. Back upstairs, guys.
Yet somebody else on the tour that wants our job.
Yeah, they're all over the place, aren't they?
Mrs. Bowie's going to be in here asking for our job now. Jeff Bock will continue on the mound for Durham. Boy, that is a pretty nice clubhouse for A-ball, huh?
It is. Good thing Mike had his construction shoes on to make him get all the way back into the bowels of the stadium in order to get into the locker room.
That's nothing like the A-ball yards that you played in, right, where you guys sat around and played cards for pieces of pretzel?
We were playing with pieces of pretzel. What are you talking about? We didn't have any money.
Will Polidor has accounted 1-1, looking to start things out. We're in the top of the 10th inning tonight. Ball slicing towards the stands. Oh, look at John not giving it his all.
That is a concrete wall right there, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That does not do well on the kneecaps. This is a great effort. Ouch. He's saying, hey, I thought I saw you drop a hot dog down there. Maybe I'll try to find it for you. Yeah, there it is.
Excuse me, Mrs. Season Ticket Holder.
That ruined my manicure.
Here's the 0-2 home to Polidor. Swung on it again, sliced in that same direction again, not giving chase, but it's a little further up. This doesn't merit a dive.
Knott's looking over there saying, come on. Try a different part of the ball yard here.
Guy's trying to kill me. We were talking last inning about Jeff Bock and some of his great family history about being a Durham Bull. His father, a former general manager here. Grandfather, a former player. There's your shot line to Jimenez. He goes up onto the tippy tops and makes the catch.
Check out Jimenez vertical leap. He's way up in the clouds. Oh, some style points on his way down. There's a smile.
Frank Menachino, the batter now. For Jeff Bock, he's a returnee to Durham from last year. Last year, rather, at the end of the season, the last game ever in the old Durham Athletic, the old DAP, Jeff pitched a complete game win, a 7-inning 3-hitter. It was the tail end of a doubleheader game. Who more appropriate than he to star in the final game ever at the old Durham Athletic? 2 away on a ground out to the left side of the infield.
We've seen some pretty nice defense all throughout the infield today. Benbow got a tricky little hop there at the end, but he kept his glove on the ground and then came up with the ball in order to catch it and was able to make the play. If you start with your glove up and then try to go down, it's much more difficult a play to make. You can always make the play easier if you're down and come up.
Left-handed hitting Harold Williams, a batter now. First pitch to him is inside.
Their Toth blocks that ball behind the plate much better than some of the balls we'd seen in the past. Did a much better job of getting out, getting on his knees, and getting in front of that ball.
Chopper over the mound, charging Benbow, makes a play near the bag, and zips a throw across to not into 1-2-3 inning for Bock in the 10th. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th inning. Still tied up 4-4. We're back for baseball's version of sudden death. Bottom of the inning in extra innings. Bottom of the 10th, a 4-4 tie. That's the way it happened. Bulls scored first. Prince William tied it up, but then every time Prince William would put up a run, the Durham Bulls would counter. Look at those final 2 innings. It translates into a 4-4 tie, and we're in the bottom of the 10th inning. Got a new pitcher on the mound for the Prince William Cannons. They've gone to another left-hander. Taking over for Archie Vasquez on the mound for Prince William. It'll be Todd Rizzo. Good numbers for this left-hander.
A lot of appearances there, 30 games. Still has a little bit of trouble being a left-hander throwing strikes. You can see he walked 30 guys. For the Chicago White Sox, this is what they call their high A affiliate. There's another one in the system. There's 2 other ones, as a matter of fact, in South Bend and in Hickory. And we'll see the Hickory Club play at Augusta next week. Go down to the Appy League in Bristol. Above Prince William, Birmingham, and Nashville. We saw the Nashville Club a couple of weeks ago at Omaha. A little bit surprised at the White Sox organization that have 3 A-ball teams. That spreads your talent so thin. You don't have an opportunity to win at that level, and we all know that their development is the biggest thing that they worry about at the A-ball level. But when you put managers like Dave Huppert through a situation like this, where you take one of their best players and one of their best pitchers away, and now all of a sudden they're having a much more difficult time competing in this league when they won the first half, it makes a lot more sense to keep some of those diamonds in the rough, if you will, together instead of spreading them out over 3 different teams.
There's Dave Huppert. 1 for 21 career in the big leagues. A .048 career major league hitter.
I asked him, you remember that hit? He said, you know it. It was probably one of those 99 hop seeing eye grounders up the middle, and he told me it was a bullet.
Managed for 6 years in the Brewers system, last couple of years in the White Sox chain. In fact, in '92 was his only year not managing in the past 10 years of his life. He was the bullpen catcher at Comiskey. In his 2nd year with the Reins here in Prince William. Count to Gator McBride is at 3-1, a 4-4 tie. We're in the bottom of the 10th inning. Goes full to McBride now. Rizzo finds the outside portion. That Durham Bulls D, oftentimes mistaken for the Denver Broncos D. Swing and a miss by McBride, 1 away.
Certainly is a difference.
Well, in Denver, you got a Bronco coming out. In Durham, you got a Bull coming in, right?
That's it. Pretty good fastball. Blew it right by McBride, who looked like he was pretty much sitting on a fastball and still couldn't catch up with it. There's your Bull dancing out of the D.
Wonderful, terrific. Mons the third, the batter, and the first pitch to the kid they call Wonder is in for a strike. You were speaking earlier about the possible hardship of being named Wonderful Terrific. And it's something, as we talked about, he's learned to deal with, but he insists that still the hardest thing today is that when he meets somebody for the first time and says, "Hi, I'm wonderful."
Oh, are you?
Ball and a strike on him with the bases empty and one out. A 4-4 tie, bottom of the 10th. Fouled back to the screen.
This Durham Ball Club certainly possesses one of the more unusual colors in all of sports, with that burnt orange. And then this year, they used to wear the blue hats, and now have come out with those burnt orange hats to go along with the stirrups.
I'll tell you why I like the Durham colors. Very simply put, there's no teal.
You're absolutely right. And they have two different kinds of hats. They do have the blue hats also, but they're going with orange because they've had a little losing streak going. They want to break that, and you talked about the traditions or the superstitions that players have. Believe me, they're out there.
1-2 to Mons is fouled back. Boy, he's just missing getting on this stuff. We took a look at wonderful Mons' 94 numbers a moment ago. He's got that speed and power package, and for a guy that was a low-round draft pick, he's turning some heads.
Right, this is one of the guys, they rave about his athletic ability. 6'3" and 190. I asked if he thought he would get any bigger, if that would be better for him. I thought maybe he'd go 6'3", 210 by the time he reached the big league level. And Matt West said, you know, he's got that type of body where you probably don't want him to gain any more weight. Tremendous physical specimen right now, and he's at that point where he's a man now. You know, you don't need him to get any bigger. He doesn't need to fill out at all. And he's got great speed, great arm in the outfield, and occasional power. They really like what he can do.
2-2 pitches, jerk foul. Well, wonderful Mons could stop playing today, and he would forever be in the annals of history for the Durham Bulls. This past April, when this ballpark hosted its first ever game, he led off the bottom of the first inning with a home run versus Lynchburg and forever carved himself into the history of this place. Swings and misses on 2-2, 2 away.
Wonder where maybe he gets some of that athletic ability. His father was an All-American defensive back at Nebraska. Here's his fastball, just pretty much overpowering guys right now, Jeff, with his fastball. Todd Rizzo going right at guys at this point, not messing around too much, and guys just aren't able to catch up with that fastball. We've seen a lot of the lefties in the game earlier today haven't been the kind of guys that throw all that hard. You set yourself up for a rhythm of the game, and then a guy comes in, he's got a couple extra miles an hour on that fastball. It's a little tougher to catch up with.
John Knott the batter now. John Knott, one of those young players who is kept busy in baseball off seasons with what else but baseball. Last off season he went and played in the Australian Winter League, the club that has catcher Dave Nilsson as its poster boy and favorite child. Dave Nilsson, the Milwaukee player, the Milwaukee catcher, the native of Australia. That guy could do anything he wants in Australia. Dave Nilsson is like the favorite child out there. He was a teammate of this guy over the winter.
You look at Knott's numbers for this season, 263, 9 home runs and 33 RBIs. The concern is that with so much baseball that he's played, going from the season to the Australian League and then literally right back into this season, that I might be getting a little bit tired.
There's the ground ball to shortstop that Knott beats out as Harold Williams takes a little little bit for granted on the receiving end. We'll take a look at that again. As Knott reaches first base with 2 away, that could prove to be quite big.
Here's Polliter coming into the ball, fields it nicely, but then a little bit nonchalant, doesn't get his feet underneath him. The ball tails away from Williams, and he's not able to make the sweep tag. This ball gliding up the line. Williams did a nice try to get it. Looked like he just kind of said, this is an easy out. I'm going to toss it over there. And this is the time in the game where you need to bear down more, not let up.
So Knott's a 2-out base runner now. That gives David Toth an at-bat. Toth has the ability to leave the park. He's hit 4 home runs this season. Runner at first base is Knott. 2 away, bottom of the 10th inning, a 4-4 tie. Swing and a miss on a good breaking ball.
You know, once again, we talk about the ability to be able to steal a base. Now, Knott has stolen 8 bases, but he's been caught 11 times. Oh, here it was 19 times. And he, in the situation, calls for you to steal a base here because you need a guy in the scoring position.
Not a good base running threat. Can I get a rim shot? We were speaking earlier about some of the instruction that these young Braves get in the system and talking about Glenn Hubbard working with a lot of these young players. David Toth has credited former Bulls manager Leon Roberts, who's now a roving hitting instructor in the Braves system, for bringing out some of his bigger offensive numbers. Apparently his front side was opening up on fastballs. A good fastball would have him open up too early, and he wasn't hitting a good pitch as a result.
You got to keep that front shoulder in there. There's no doubt about that, whether or not you're trying to pull a fastball or sit back on a breaking pitch. You got to stay tight inside. If you start pulling off of anything, you're in trouble.
He's behind 1-2 here. Rizzo runs a fastball past him.
And that's been the story since Rizzo's come into the game. Not known to have an overpowering fastball, but he's blowing the ball by everybody tonight.
And as much as John Knott doesn't have the greatest wheels at first base, he's off to a pretty good-sized lead on 1-2 to David Toth. And that lead goes noticed by Rizzo.
And once again, I'm a little surprised that he's not in motion here. If he gets thrown out, you still have Toth leading off the inning. You are the home team. You are going to get a second chance, even if the visitors score. So put a guy in scoring position if you can and try to end it in this inning.
Little fister to second base. Menachino makes the play, throws him out, and we'll go to 11. Bulls leave a 2-out base runner. We go to the 11th, still tied at 4.
4-4 game here in the 11th. And as we hang out up in the broadcast booth, some of the fans are starting to stroll out of here. But our boy, Mike Mayock, he does not go home. He's still out there working.
You know, I got a little tired of sitting inside, not seeing any of the ball games, so I decided to go somewhere where nobody could bother me. 400-foot wall, I'm about 90 feet behind it, 490 feet from home plate, and I got to tell you, Steve, probably the best seat in the whole house. I got everything right in front of me.
You know, I couldn't hit him if I was playing center field and swung my bat.
Hey, Steve, I got to tell you, I got the scouting report on you tonight. And your old coach up in Boston, Billy Flack, told me, he said, hey, Lyons, great athlete, could run, throw the ball, little shaky up at bat, but the one thing that really stands out in his memory is that if somebody had something nice, you were all over it.
That's right. He keeps accusing me of stealing a glove from him sometimes.
No, he said you stole the glove, but he also said that when you stole a base, you really stole the base.
Oh, man.
Bill Slack, I would imagine that with a last name like that, it's the only time in somebody's life that they could be called a slacker and not take it as a complete hack. Did he ever call his disciples the slackers?
Yeah, he's a great guy, too. You know, he was talking to me about a glove he used to have, and he said, you know, the last time I saw it, you were looking at it. I said, I didn't even use Wilson gloves.
Jeff Bock to continue. He pitched a perfect 10th. Here we are in the top of the 11th, and he tries to nibble. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Maglio Ordonez.
breaking ball.
Swung out and missed. Strike 3. Jeff Bock's been outstanding. Works out nicely when you're in extra innings and you get a guy that can spot start. He can give you a few innings.
That's right, and he's in a situation where he's going to probably have to do that with all the pitching changes made. Look at the downer on that breaking ball. And we talked about the situation behind the plate, that he hasn't done a very good job blocking the ball, but Toth blocked that one very nicely, knowing that with 2 strikes, if I see a ball in the dirt, I'm going to have to block this one or else the guy's going to get first base. He may have chipped a tooth on that ball. That's called sticking your face in front of one.
Oh, that's one of the things that you don't want to know about either.
Oh, that ruins his smile.
Look at that. It looks... Well, I don't know what David Toth's teeth looked like before, so I can't tell you.
His parents are sitting around watching this game right now saying all those orthodontics. Here he goes to block this ball. Much nicer job than he's been doing in the past. And that just gets up underneath the mask, hits him in the chin, and rattles those teeth around.
Here's Juan Thomas. Breaking ball misses inside to the big boy. Thomas has already left his mark on this game tonight. Had a home run in the 7th inning of tremendous proportion.
Well, he's one of those guys right now where he can go 1 for 4, and his average is going to go up. He's only hitting .216 on the season. They're a little disappointed in that. As we mentioned before, they want him to do a little bit more than either hit a gargantuan blast or sit down with a strikeout. Talked about already that he's on pace to strike out 170 times this season.
I know that baseball operations people, when they're trying to put together winning teams, aren't always a fan of those types of players, but I have been, and I know a lot of fans are. Give me a Rob Deere. Give me a Dave Kingman. Give me a feast or famine guy every time to watch as a fan.
He's an exciting player to watch because you always feel the electricity in the air knowing that he may hit one so far you've never seen it go that far. But they also clog up the bases sometimes, get in situations where they strike out in critical situations. And on a ball club, they're a little less exciting. But from a fan standpoint, boy, every time they come up there, you want to see them swing.
Here's Paul Gonzalez now, left-hander with good power against right-hander Jeff Bock. Runner at first base, and the pitch is in for a strike.
Now, the Bulls can't forget about Thomas on first base because, believe it or not, for as big as he is, he runs very well.
Up to a moderate lead. Breaking pitch swung out and missed. It looks like Bock is working Gonzalez, a left-hander, away from Dish.
Take a look, another look at this swing. We've talked about the Walt Reniak influence. You can see the big high one-handed follow-through, head down all the time. Every hitting instructor in this organization is a disciple of Walt Reniak. They all preach exactly the same thing. And that's a pretty good thing to have in your organization so that every guy knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing as they move up the ladder.
Gonzalez is working even 2-2 now. We were talking about going to play baseball in Australia earlier in the broadcast. Gonzalez did that a couple of winters ago. Met a girl, got married, brought her over to the States. Go over there to work on baseball, and you get your personal life all sorted out. How about that?
We talked about the style of hitting that Walt Reniak preaches, who can remember one of the greatest hitters that ever played the game. Here's that swing again. You can see the way they stride, keep your head down, and a big high follow-through. This time, he keeps both hands on the bat. George Brett had a similar style, and Brett would leave one hand on the bat if the ball was away from him because he felt like he had to extend a little bit more to reach that pitch, and if the ball was in, he'd go ahead and keep both hands on the bat, and he felt fine doing that. A lot of guys let go of the bat with one hand, but we just don't notice it as much.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Gonzo, Paul Gonzalez. Talking about George Brett. Many call him the greatest hitter of his era. Was he the best you ever played with or against?
Oh, I think he was certainly one of the more complete hitters. I guess if I said that I wanted to see a guy go up there and I had to bet my life that he was going to get a base hit, I would probably either pick Wade Boggs, a guy that I did play with, or a Tony Gwynn, who I never played with, but obviously have seen what he's been able to do, and, you know, those guys can just flat out hit.
Well, they call this strike 3. Looked like he tried to check it.
I don't think so.
So 2 strikeouts and a walk this inning for Jeff Bock. With 2 away, a runner aboard. Joe Durso comes up. He was the guy that homered against Del Matthews in the top of the 9th inning. Gave Prince William a short-lived 4-3 lead. It looked like it was going to be enough, but Durham rallied to tie it in the bottom of the 9th, and that explains why we're here in the 11th. High fly ball to center field. Playable for Andre King. Makes the catch. Will go to the bottom of the 11th. Prince William turned away again. Still a 4-4 tie. Well, the folks watching this one tonight here in the ballpark are thinking this will be the magic inning for the Durham Bulls. They are 5-5 in extra innings ball games this year. All 5 of their wins have come as a result of 11th inning rallies. We are in the bottom of the 11th inning. Major League Baseball coming up on ESPN. Wednesday Night Baseball, a doubleheader in Game 1 from the Fens in Boston, the Red Sox and the Indians. In the bushes tonight. Down here on the farm in the Carolina League, Matt Vasgersian, Steve Lyons, Mike Mayock back along with you. We have seen a good one on the field tonight. Seen a charming new facility. And the hometown fans, over 6,000 of them were on hand earlier. They're hoping for a hometown win. It'll be the bottom third of the Durham order. Benbow, Newell, and Jimenez. Well, this was the same part of the order that gave the Durham Bulls the run to tie it in the 9th.
Yeah, Benbow got it started with that slashing double down the line. See if they can come in and put something together in this half.
Todd Rizzo continuing on the mound. He yielded the 2-out single in the 10th. Manny Jimenez wants to hit this inning.
He's got the hit beads out there, slapping him up against the bat for good luck.
Benbow leading off the inning. The bases are empty. 4-4 tie, bottom of the 11th.
There's that same pitch that Rizzo's been trying to get the guys to chase, that high fastball a little bit out of the zone. Benbow laid off that time.
When you talk about the minor league schedule, baseball every night, as we've talked about on our broadcast before, no travel days on the farm. Extra innings are the last thing that you want to go through when you're on the field doing it every night all summer long.
Yeah, one of the favorite things that gets said in a dugout when you're in a situation like this is, hey, we don't get paid overtime. Let's end this thing somehow.
It's a 2-2 on Lou Benbow now. Interesting that we should have extra innings here tonight. Manager Dave Huppert of the Prince William Cannons involved in the longest ever professional baseball game, the 33-inning nightmare. He had the distinction of catching 31 of those 33 innings with your alum Pawtucket Red Sox.
That's right. I asked him if he's still sore from that game. He said, no doubt about it. My legs are still killing. He said that cost him about half a season. That his legs were hurting so bad after that.
Oh, I believe it. Imagine catching 31 straight innings.
Forget about catching them. Just try to squat for that long.
Back in 1981. A little chip shot back towards the mound. Rizzo struggles with it, and the leadoff hitter is aboard in the bottom of the 11th for Durham.
Well, there was another guy in that game that's put together a fairly decent streak since then. Cal Ripken Jr. Look at this ball right back to the mound. Some of the pitchers have had a little trouble fielding the ball. We're not going to see any Gold Glove winners from the pitching staff of these two teams. After that ball bounced off his leg and he saw it rolling towards the line, he was saying, "Help me, Mr. Wizard!"
Error charge to the pitcher. Brent Newell, the batter. Well, you talk about that 33-inning ball game between Rochester and Pawtucket back in '81. You brought up Cal Ripken playing third base for the Red Wings. How about the guy playing third base for the Paw Sox? There's a pitch bunted to the right side, coming off the bag. Williams overthrows first base. Benbow all the way to third. They're going to hold him there. Newell will get second on the overthrow. Durham's got the makings of a game-winning rally, brother.
The errors are really mounting up, and it's killing them. You're going to see a replay of this. They just don't make the throw. Pretty good bunt in a good area. Look at that. Everything was done right, but the throw just goes sailing over everyone's head. Here's a great play also by Matt West at third base. The tendency would be to go ahead and let Benbow try to score. It would have been a close play, but with nobody out, no reason to do that. Let the guy stay on third base. You got to figure with 3 outs, you're going to have an opportunity to drive somebody in.
Well, as one might guess, Manny Jimenez, 2 for 4 night or no, is going to be put on board intentionally.
Hey, they saw him rubbing the beads against the bat there. They know. They don't want any part of Jimenez. Obviously, you load the bases here to give yourself a better opportunity for a double play ball or a force out at the plate or any other base. You're going to see all the outfielders move way in because the sacrifice fly beats you in this game, so it doesn't make any sense to have your outfielders positioned in an area where they can catch a sacrifice fly. You have to try to take hits away from people. Right now, in my opinion, the outfielders aren't playing shallow enough. They should all be coming in probably another 10 to 15 feet, because any lazy looping fly ball over their head scores the run and the game's over. Infield's going to be in. The play is definitely at the plate here.
Chance for Andre King to be the hero. He has singled and walked in 5 at-bats tonight. 1 for 4 officially. Bases are loaded for Durham. Nobody out. Bottom of the 11th.
Outfielders still, I don't think, Matt, are shallow enough. I think they should come in even a little bit further. The thing that you're trying to prevent is a nice line drive base hit, or if someone, so that you can maybe catch that ball. If the ball sails over your head right now, even if they catch a ball right where they're standing, there's a good chance that Benbow is going to score. He's got good speed from third. Have to bring those guys in even closer.
Benbow at third base, Newell at second. Jimenez at first. Benbow is a guy on Prince William's mind right now. 1-1 on King. Ball gets away from Durso. Nobody's going to try to advance on that.
King showing some very nice poise at the plate. The key for the hitter in this situation is to be patient up there. Get a hit, get a pitch that you can drive somewhere. Don't go up there swinging at the very first pitch you see just because you can see an opportunity to drive in the game-winning run. Get yourself a pitch to hit, because if you take a weak swing, tap one back to the pitcher, he comes home to first. Now you have 2 outs. You can get out of this inning. Drive the ball in this situation.
2-1 is swung on and missed. How about Todd Rizzo? There is no room for error here if you're pitching in this situation. He's got King 2-2. Scott Pagano waiting a chance on deck should King not be able to do it. How about a little more drama?
3-2.
Well, as we told you a little bit ago, this has been the magic inning for Durham. All 5 of their extra innings wins this year have come in the 11th. Everybody standing. Here's the big payoff from Rizzo. Swung on and missed.
Now there's so many options that you can do defensively here. The middle infielders will probably move back a couple steps. Here's that fastball that Rizzo's been throwing all night and blowing it by guys. That's a tremendous pitch in the clutch right there. See the middle infielders go back and play double play depth. The third baseman now has to make the decision if the ball's hit to his left, whether he spins back and tries to throw home for the out or tries to get the double play to end the inning. Generally, if the ball's hit to his left, he'll go ahead and try to get that double play in the inning and without the run scored.
Matt West is going to send up a pinch hitter, Miguel Mickey Correa. Correa, originally a right-handed batter. He's got the ability to switch hit. That doesn't matter here with the left-hander, Rizzo, on the mound. They're going to hit him from the right side.
Correa's no punch and Judy up there. He's got 12 home runs and 48 RBIs. He can swing the stick.
Again, the infield in double play depth up the middle. Gonzalez even with the bag at third base. Here's the 0-1 to Correa. This is outside.
You know, one of the plays that's involved in baseball and everyone tends to love it is the squeeze play. Do you put the squeeze play on right now?
You hear the dugout cheering on Mickey Correa. 1-1, bases loaded for Durham. Here's the next pitch from Rizzo. Swung on, popped him up. Having it onto the roof of the grandstand. Crash.
Now Rizzo's in a dilemma too. He's been blowing his fastball by guys. But Correa's not been in the game. To go with the breaking ball, does he stick with his fastball? This is where baseball, you talk about the strategy of the game, and people say, oh, baseball's too slow. When you get to this point in the ball game, there's a ton of things you can be thinking about.
There are so many mini battles involved in something like that. Pitch to pitch, out to out. Rizzo from the stretch on 1-2. Fly ball in the infield. Playable as shortstop. Polidor makes the catch. 2 away. It's all going to be up to Gator McBride. Who more appropriate? He homered in the first, had an RBI single in the 8th. They load him with nobody out. Rizzo comes up big, strikes out King, and gets Correa to pop out.
He's been a gutty pitcher out there in a long line of some pretty gutty performances from all the pitchers out there tonight.
Gator McBride's going to have to earn it here. No longer is the sacrifice fly an issue, and that'll back off the outfield and infield with 2 away.
I remember McBride's last at-bat, Rizzo basically blew fastballs by him. It was kind of a guy challenging a fastball hitter with his fastball. Let's see what happens this time.
1-0 pitch misses inside to 2-0.
McGee's right there in the dugout saying, how can he not let that ball hit him? Take one for the team and get on first. You know why he doesn't? Because it hurts. That's why.
2-0 misses inside. Now it's to 3-0.
You can see him rolling away from that pitch.
I got to believe your instinct is bases loaded in the bottom of the 11th or not is to get out of the way of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. Very few guys have the gut to stand in front of a ball and let it hit him. He's in a pretty good situation here. You can bet he is taking this pitch. He will not be swinging.
3-0 misses, and that'll do it. The Durham Bulls win it on a bases-loaded walk in the bottom of the 11th. How do you like that?
Wow, that's just too bad. Todd Rizzo did a nice job of pitching. Just ran out of gas at the end after loading the bases. He comes back and gets 2 guys out quickly. And 4 straight pitches to McBride for the walk.
In a game that featured 4 home runs, we get a deciding play on a bases-loaded walk.
Nicely played ball game. A lot of great defense from both of the third basemen. There you see Gonzalez. He was one of the guys involved at the third base play. Some timely hitting, nice comebacks. complete baseball game.
Great Carolina League baseball tonight. Join us on Thursday when we visit the Southern League. Carolina League, the Durham Bulls win it on a bases-loaded walk. And on behalf of Steve Lyons, Mike Mayock, and our entire ESPN2 crew, this is Matt Vasgersian. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Thursday.
With the manager, and he checked with the general manager,